It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
What a long, strange trip it's been to get here on this Wednesday, August 19th, 2026 transmission of the Owen Report, your home for political play-by-play. The fastest 3 hours on the internet starts now. I got to tell you, we got a loaded show, tons of news. Tons of news. I got a bunch of Trump clips. He was doing a tour of some of the construction happening around the White House, taking some questions from the press. We got a couple Ruths today. Oh, man. We got some Ruths today. Are you seeing that? Yeah. You guys know, right? You guys know. I love the obsession reference here. Absolutely love the obsession reference here. And the whole Natalie Harp story is getting out of control. But guys, I've got the news loaded up. We got the normal news. It's Groundhog's Day. Boomer's here on the desk having a good time with us today. So, we got the Iran war. It's ongoing. We got the whodunit with the latest missile strikes. You've got NATO drama today as well. I do have the two big races. Well, really, there were three big results, I think, that we will look at. But Alaska and Florida from last night, the primaries. We'll take a look at that, what that means heading into the midterms. Another thing I need to bring up, an interesting situation in Pennsylvania that is actually a repeat of the situation, but it's trending the wrong way if you're Republicans. And then I got a bunch of economic news, a bunch of other random news, and I'm sitting here. I just finished the news aggregation for the day. I'm drinking my Crash Out energy. Things are right on track. The studio is back up and running today. We're operating on all cylinders, feeling good. It's a good day. It's a beautiful day. And then I get the latest sent to me right before the show. Thanks a lot. Right before the show, Dan Bongino is attacking me on X. And I'm just, perfect. Perfect. This is exactly what I needed. This is exactly what we needed today. A little bit of a buffer. A little bit something fun for us to play with on the news today. Dan Bongino coming after Owen Schroyer. I got to admit, it's flattering. I'm having so much fun with this now. It's more fun than any human being should be allowed to have. And so we're going to respond to that. We're going to take a look at it. In fact, I don't even have it in my stack. I haven't even had time from receiving this to add it to my stack yet. So we're going to have to add it now, late. We'll call it an audible. We'll pull it up here. And it just follows the same trend. It just follows the same trend. It's crazy. I'm living in the Twilight Zone. I'm surrounded by NPCs. What is going on? And you know what? It's even more Twilight Zone, guys. I'll tell you this right now. So I'm getting the attacks from MAGA. Nothing on policy, by the way. Still not a single, not even an offer of responding to any of the things I say. It's still about the look. That's all it is. Every single time. And now it's some of the biggest names in MAGA. So, okay, MAGA's attacking me. Can't say anything about policy. Can't say anything about results. It's all about the hair. Do I have to talk about the hair again? And you know what I got for you tomorrow, guys? We're going to do a little special tomorrow afternoon here. Just after 1 o'clock, we're going to be having Anna Kasparian on for a special transmission. I'm going to be talking with her for about an hour, talking politics with her. I mean, I'm in bizarro world. I don't even know what is going on anymore, except we know too much. Does that make me crazy? I knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Probably. So, okay, I'm just having fun with it at this point. It's just, it's too fun now. But maybe we'll address that coming up. So I got all of that and more coming up on today's show. We do have a loaded news show, so don't think it's just going to be all fun and games with the Dan Bongino thing. But I think it's nice. It's a nice little buffer. It's a nice little buffer before we get into the heavy news today, because I already know it's going to piss me off. It's the same crap every damn day now with the Middle East and the economy. It's on and on and on and on. Go vote for Republicans. Go vote for Republicans. Go vote for Republicans. Like, it's just like white noise. And we're so far ahead of everybody else. It's just like everything's downstream now. So you just kind of need a little, you need a little something. Perfect timing from Dan Bongino. I thank Dan for that today. We really do. We really thank Dan for that. So we will be addressing that. Maybe we'll just do it right out of the gates. Maybe we'll just do that one right out of the gates before we get into the heavy news, guys. What do you think about that? That's kind of what I'm thinking about. So it's going to be a loaded broadcast. We got all kinds of news all over the map today. Kind of 2 days worth of news since no broadcast yesterday. I hope you guys were able to check out the interview I did with Brandon Strock that was published Monday. I shared that yesterday on his YouTube channel. I hope you guys were able to watch that. That was a good conversation. And it kind of, I do this show as like a direct information, it's like you tune in, you're trying to get information. I really enjoy that kind of classical talk show panel format. Not like a TV panel, but like a radio panel where you're just having a conversation. You're just kind of going back and forth. May need to try to implement more of that onto the show. Because I think there's definitely a void for that right now. Everybody's kind of now going in this direction. And we're kind of losing that like just classical discussion dialogue type of transmission. But I'm getting off base here. So let's get back on schedule before we get into today's content. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Allegiance Gold. I saw that crypto's back in the news because of the Clarity Act. And then you have Bitcoin, I think, was going back up today. And so there's always these debates about, is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? All of this stuff. And the whole purpose here is to have something that's kind of a hedge against a financial collapse. Have something that's a hedge that can keep you financially independent or even wealthy if the worst happens in the economy. And to me, the answer is gold. That's always been my set. That's always been my mindset. It's something you can have, something you can hold. It's a physical thing. You can keep it in a safe. So for me, I've always looked at gold as kind of that fail-safe, that safety net. That's been my mentality. And I think a lot of people are realizing that too. A lot of people are realizing that. And so what you're seeing is the price of gold is going up, obviously, naturally. But if you're thinking the same thing and you're trying to make a decision about how can I get into precious metals, you got to go with somebody you can trust. That's why I suggest Allegiance Gold. Why do I say you can trust them? Because they have nearly 10,000 clients nationwide and an A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. Doesn't get any better than that. And they want to make sure you are well understood and confident in the decisions that you're making before you make them. So give them a call, 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. And while you have them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. Up to $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They make it simple to move into something real before the next reset. That's our friends at Allegiance Gold. Give them the call, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
on the cutting edge of news and analysis. The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
I don't know, guys. Do we want to start with the Dan Bongino attack right before we go live here? 40 minutes before we go live. Says apparently I think Sean Faresh is working with Dan now. So I don't even know what to call Dan. I mean, Faresh is 100% Trump cult guy. Dan is kind of above that. I mean, he's been in Secret Service. He's had a big podcast. You know, he's obviously worked at the FBI. He's been a police officer. So I don't even know if I would say Bongino is a Trump cultist. He's kind of like in the establishment type now. Faresh is total cultist, but I guess now that Faresh is working for Dan, Dan's going to have his back and start attacking me too. But it's amazing. It is amazing. It's amazing for two reasons. Because, one, none of them still have offered a single argument against anything I've said. Not a single one. It continues to be about the look. And I can get to the look in a second. And you guys know we've been having fun with the look since day one. We were ahead on that too, by the way. The first day with the hair, I did a roast. I hosted my own roast. So we came into this expecting to have fun. We came into this expecting the heat. But it still continues. It's been, I don't even know, we're months into this now. And they still can only address the look. They cannot address anything I say. Now, this latest from Bongino is funny because, of course, I can't respond to Dan because he has me blocked. So how do you explain that one? How are you gonna talk about me, Dan? How are you gonna talk about me and screenshot an image of my post when you block me? It's such a weird thing. I'll be nice to Dan today. I used to listen to his show all the time. In fact, the whole thing, honestly, this whole thing kind of has a hint of tragedy to it. As much fun as I'm having, there's like this hint of tragedy to it. It's like, wow, this is how fallen off MAGA is. This is how destroyed the MAGA coalition is. It's like, as I describe it, it's not dead. It is now a zombie coming after us, trying to eat our brains. That's what this is now. This is now the MAGA zombie horde coming at the rest of us, trying to eat our brains. So, but it's like, Dan, how are you going to attack me and my image and my post while you have me blocked? It's like, I don't want to come out here and call you a coward. I don't even want to do that. I'm not even trying to do some tough guy thing with Dan Bongino, honestly. He's got the bona fides. He's been a cop, Secret Service agent, FBI. It's like, I'm not trying to do some tough guy thing here. But it's just like, dude, how else can I describe this other than completely cowardly that you block me on X and then you share my posts and you take screenshots and you share my image and you attack me while you have me blocked? I mean, that is pure cowardice, Dan. Pure cowardice. There's nothing else I can describe this as. And I'd love to hear what it is you disagree with, Dan. This is my main contention. You guys can make fun of me all day long for the look. And please continue. I'm begging you. What do I say that you disagree with? What is it that I'm talking about that you disagree with? That's all I'm asking. So maybe you guys are like obsessed with me. Maybe you guys like the hair so much, but there's like a denial thing. It's like when you're a young guy, young boy, maybe you find your first crush and you don't really know, you're kind of mean to her, is that what this is? You guys have a crush on me, so you're kind of like making fun of me, you think that'll endear me or something? So I'm going through this, and it's just, guys, I honestly, it is tragic, and we've kind of reached this point now where there's little to no hope left for the Trump MAGA movement, really. It's like all the hope is now invested in whatever comes next. It's like this thing is cooked. This thing is done. It looks like it's all signed, sealed, and delivered, and we're just kind of fighting for scraps. But there's this hint of tragedy, because it's like this is what it represents in a certain way. And it's sad, because the truth is I've not changed. I have not changed. And aside from my hair color, I'm yet to see anyone address anything I've changed on. I have not changed at all. All of my principles, all of my policies, the things that I want, the things that I don't want, I've not changed an inch. Aside from the color of my hair, I have barely budged an inch on most major policy issues. And so I go and I look at the Dan Bongino post, and aside from the people that are in there, supporting me that are nice, but it's just like too much soy in the diet. Bro, let's see what your physique looks like. I'm becoming a leftist. Tell me one leftist policy I support. Explain how Owen Schroyer is a leftist. Don't mention anything about my physical appearance, and explain how I'm a leftist. Again, leftist. They think I'm wearing lipstick, guys. Now look, anybody that knows me knows that this is actually, of all the things that have been accused about me, this might be the most absurd. I am so anti-makeup. I'm like turned off by makeup. I'm like famously known when I used to go into these TV studios or sit down for like big debate panels and other shows like this, they send you through makeup. I'm well known. Somebody gets close to me with like a makeup, one of those paintbrushes, I get mad. I'm like, get away from me. So this is just crazy. What happened to Owen? I used to admire him. Now he's a loony leftist. How am I a leftist? Explain to me how I'm a leftist. Do not mention my physical appearance. Tell me how I'm a leftist. What policies do I support that are leftist? And by the way, again, it's like this is irony on top of irony on top of irony. Trump is the one that is supporting amnesty. It is Trump and Republicans that are supporting amnesty. Trump just endorsed Maria Salazar for what? The third time? She wrote a bill. She wrote a pro-amnesty bill. Trump endorsed Mike Lawler. He also wrote a pro-amnesty bill. What are we talking about? What are we even talking about? Who's become the leftist here? What is it about me that's leftist? Leave out my physical appearance. They have no response. They have none. No, that's funny. I guess that's why. Oh my gosh. I'm a liberal. What? Okay. It's like none of this even means anything. So, here's what's sad about it, guys. This is what's actually sad about it. It just shows how really ignorant and uninformed these people are. And that's why now they're the modern day libtards. They are just as disillusioned or uninformed. I mean, it's a very strange thing. But that's what it is. I dealt with this for 8 years from liberals. I dealt with this for 8 years from all the Trump haters. I created an entire genre of content on the internet that they still make today. I have hundreds of hours of compilations, billions of views on the internet, destroying leftists, destroying liberals, owning the libs. For years, I was the heavyweight king of this content. And I guess you could say I'm retired now. And I'm just saying, it is the exact same nature that these MAGA people now have. It is the exact same nature that the MAGA-tards, the MAGA cult people now have. They are not informed on anything. It's the same difference. They might believe different things. They might believe they're on the right or on the left or a conservative or all of these different mindsets. At the end of the day, when you challenge their ideas or when you actually try to have a political discussion or debate and you look at policy or results, they don't know anything. MAGA is the modern day libtard. And I have now become total proof positive. Again, it's total Twilight Zone. Instead of me going out into the streets with a microphone and sticking a microphone in an anti-Trump libtard's face to expose them, now all I have to do is post a selfie video on X. So, I mean, I guess the job is easier. I post a 2-minute selfie video on X. Maybe I should keep doing it, by the way. It's like I just do this. I finish doing yard work, and then I shoot a selfie video, and they all go crazy over the look. It's like, yeah, sorry guys, I don't really think about dolling myself up for a 2-minute video. And then they spend hundreds of hours making memes, making videos, writing up posts, people writing up essays on what's happened to me over a 2-minute selfie video. They are the new libtards. Forget about policy. It doesn't even make a difference to them, obviously. Policy means nothing to them. They are low. Trump MAGA supporters are now the lowest IQ, lowest information group in politics today. And I guess their excuse, I guess their reasoning is, hey, Trump is president, so nothing matters. Trump is president, so it doesn't really matter if I'm informed or not. I just totally trust Trump. Whatever he tells me, I'm just going along with that. I guess that's the mentality. But how do you crunch all of this? How do I crunch all of this into something meaningful? How do I find a way to put this whole thing together and create a meaningful picture? And that's like the only thing I can come up with. If I'm trying to spot the lowest information, low IQ, most brainwashed political group in America today, it is MAGA. And I have now become, once again, I'm like just the bait that proves it. So I would go out to a group of leftists with a MAGA hat. I would prove they're the most low IQ, low information political group out there. Now I just post a selfie video on the internet, and here come MAGA proving they're the most low IQ, low information political group out there. I don't know what else to say. It shows that the whole thing is dead. It shows that everything this was supposed to represent, Trump, MAGA, the coalition, Make America Healthy Again, all of it, all this massive coalition and everything it was supposed to accomplish, everything it was supposed to represent, it's all dead. It's all dead. And now it's just a Trump TV show, a giant corruption scandal, a bought and paid for government, and then a bunch of cult members following it around doing cheerleading every time there's a headline that they can say, boom, Trump did this. He's done it again, Trump. Like, oh my gosh. So that's kind of the tragedy of it. And then so at the end of the day, I continue to ask the question. I'm getting sick of it, but I'm just, at the end of the day, it's like, well, what do you guys think you're getting out of this? What do you think you're getting out of this? Congratulations. You can have your 5 hours of hate or 5 minutes of hate against Owen Schroyer. Enjoy it. I'm more than happy to be of service here. If that's what you guys need, good for you. But I'm just curious, what are you actually getting out of this? Here's an example. The Republicans in Texas have completely sold us out. It's unreal. And I'm getting more stories about how this is happening. Guys, I'm telling you, ask anybody in Dallas or Austin and Houston probably too. I don't know what has happened in the last like 4 years, but the amount of Indians here have quadrupled. This is not an exaggeration. Put aside whatever demographics issues you have, or put aside, you don't want Indians coming in, whatever. Put all that aside, and let's just look at the raw facts. Let's just look at the raw, observable facts. In the last 4 years, you would go out in Austin, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, right before COVID, right after COVID, whatever, when the country was open. You would go out in Austin, you might see one Indian family. You see an Indian family. You might see one Indian, one person maybe. There's there's Indians here. It's a diverse area. You might see an Indian. If you go out in Austin now, the last 2 times I've gone out to dinner in Austin, more than half of the restaurant was Indians. I have nothing against Indians. But, if India became white, if in a 4-year period, all of a sudden, you're going through Punjab or, Mumbai or something, and it's all white people, you'd say, what's going on here? When did India become white? That'd be a story. The last 2 times I've been to dinner, the majority of the restaurant is Indian people, Indian families. Last time I went to dinner, I had an Indian waitress. I couldn't understand anything she said. It's like, I feel bad. I can't even understand you. It's like, I have to sit here and say, what did you say? What did you say? Excuse me? Can you repeat that? It's like, I just feel like I'm in a damn clown show now. Can't even communicate with a waitress. And so then I find out, Greg Abbott is the one doing this. He's a Republican. He's a Republican. And it's Greg Abbott. And then he comes out and he says, and he's talking about China, of course. He says, we can't have China influencing our education system. We can't have foreign influence in our education system. Oh, yeah. Greg Abbott, who does entire events where there's nothing but Israel flags in the room. Not even a Texas flag, not even an American flag. He does events, it's only Israel flags. And he wants to talk about foreign influence. And then he gets called on it. And he says, well, there's a difference between foreign workers and foreign influence. Yeah, because Greg Abbott is pouring H-1B workers into our country. And there is a policy, if you work at one of these logistics companies or you work at one of these like hiring companies, they will all tell you they are told intentionally to only recruit and hire H-1B workers from India because they're cheaper and everybody gets a government kickback. So if you're in there and you're doing this job, they will say, hire as many H-1B Indians as you possibly can. Fill all these positions with H-1B Indians because that's the only way anybody can make money. And now you go out in Austin, Texas, and it's Indians everywhere. And it's the Republicans that did this to us. And then they sit here and they complain online about, the Democrats are doing this to our country. The Democrats are importing the third worlders. The Republicans are doing it too. They just don't do it at the southern border. They got their own ways of doing it. They do it with H-1B visas. It's crazy. And then I have to sit here and it's like MAGA all of a sudden doesn't care about any of this. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what this really represents. At the end of the day, it just represents that most of these people really don't care about anything. They don't care about anything. They're the grifters. If there's any grifters, it's them. They don't care. They don't care about saving the country. They don't even have any ideas or visions at all. It's all slop. It's all parroting whatever you're told to say. They don't care. They're not serious about saving the country. And maybe that's because they can't even comprehend what's wrong with it. They don't even have the ability to envision what an actual free and prosperous America could be. So that's why they don't care. But really, I think what the attacks on me represent, they're scared. That's what it is. They're scared. They're scared because the more I talk, the worse they look. And it all comes down to Trump at the end of the day. I'm not the one that's going to be able to deliver 20 million deportations or not. I'm not the one that's going to be able to get gas down to $2 a gallon or not. I'm not the one that's going to stop our wars, our never-ending wars in the Middle East. I'm not the one responsible for the body bags coming home. So it has nothing to do with me. But if that keeps happening under Trump, body bags keep coming home, more war in the Middle East, gas keeps going up, affordability keeps becoming a crisis, and all this stuff keeps happening under Trump, and they're sitting here licking his boots, and they're sitting here stroking his hair, stroking his ego, doing the digital influence campaign, engaging in pure propaganda, selling the country out. They can get away with it unless I'm still talking. They can get away with it unless I'm still there and I still have character and I still have integrity and I still have consistency and I still have logic and I still have reasoning and I still have the information. So they can't shut me up. The establishment's been trying to shut me up for almost 10 years. They can't shut me up. So now they try to destroy my character. They've already tried to do that. They've called me every name under the book. Now they want to insult my looks. See how that one goes for you. Because they know if I'm still here talking and I'm calling out this administration and I'm calling out the shortcomings and I'm calling out the failure to deliver on promises and I'm calling out all of the MAGA cult members and I'm forcing them to look in the mirror, I'm forcing them to engage in a discussion on actual issues and policy and results. And as long as I'm doing it, they look bad. They look bad. And that's why they're trying to shut me up. And that's why they're trying to embarrass me, because they know as long as I'm here, as long as I exist, as long as I keep talking, they are embarrassed. They look like fools. I'll move on from this, but I'll just say one thing in closing. Sean Faresh and Dan Bongino. You know, guys, take the politics out of it, maybe we'd all get along. You know? Take the politics out of it, and maybe we're all great Americans that love the same things. You know? But, since you guys insist on insulting my looks, I find it, I have to say, I find it hilarious. I really do. I really find it funny that Dan Bongino, who looks like he has a face, it's like somebody copy and pasted the face of a French bulldog and put it on a human being. And then there's Sean Faresh, who looks like somebody copied and pasted a kimono dragon face and put it on his face with bigger ears than Marco Rubio. And these people want to insult my looks? You guys really want to insult my looks? That's the avenue you want to go down? I mean, I don't even want to do this because it's so stupid and ridiculous. We're all men in the political world here talking politics, but you guys want to insult my looks. So why don't we do something about this? Why don't we do like a catwalk for charity? It's a walk-off, guys. Let's see it. Come on, guys. Let's all do a fashion show. It's a walk-off, and we can walk up and down, and let's see who is the ugly one of the three of us. Let's have a judge of panels. Let's get beautiful women up there, you know, and they can judge. And let's see. I won't even change the hair. I'll keep the ridiculous hair. And let's just see who's ugly. You're going to insult my looks. Yeah, because you can't disagree with anything I'm saying. You can't disprove anything I'm saying. You're so cowardly that you have me blocked, and yet you still talk about me, and you still call me out and take screenshots of my posts while having me blocked. All that being said, thanks for such a good time. Thank you for the fun times. Really, we appreciate you. We appreciate you for that. All right. So let's actually get into the news here. By the way, I'm ready, guys. I'm ready for the catwalk. As soon as Sean Fresh and Dan Bongino are ready to put me in front of them and they can show the world my low soy beta energy. We can stand on the catwalk together and we can let everybody observe the physique and the look and the energy and the aura. And let's see who looks like a low T soy boy. Let's go ahead and see. I'm ready whenever you guys are. Put me up there. Embarrass me. Put me on display to be torn down. Give them rotten tomatoes to throw at me. Come on, guys. I'm ready. I'm putting myself out there. Are you ready to make the call? Are you ready to stand up for what you believe in or not? Or is this just another thing where you say something and you don't mean it? Are you ready to stand for what you believe in, Dan? Are you ready to stand for what you believe in, Sean? Put me on display. Show everybody what a soy boy I am. Show everybody how beta I am. Let's see it. Let's see it, guys. Show the world how you're so much more manly than me. Or maybe even, debate me on policy and politics and results, although you're scared of that, so you just go after my looks. So go ahead, guys. Stand up for what you believe in. Put me on display to show America, look at what the doomers are doing. Look at the black pillars. Look at the panicans. And then use me as the example to destroy all of us and own all of us. Let's see it, guys. Let's see it. All right. We've had enough fun. Enough fun. Is that a crash out energy, crash out of the day? Can we say that? Is that a crash out of the day? I don't know. We're gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. That is your crash out of the day, guys. Your crash out energy, crash out of the day. The healthiest energy drink on the planet. Get yours today at crashout.energy. We'll take it. We'll take it. All right, let's look at some of these results last night. So, some interesting stuff in Florida. I don't want to get too much into this, but we'll look at some of the basics here. So, Donald's obviously wins. Doesn't get a majority, but that's okay. He advances anyway. Jay Collins comes in second, which is, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a weird one to me. You know, Florida might not be the best example to say social media still does not equate to political victories, because Florida might be the oldest state in the country. In fact, is Florida the oldest state in the country? I bet it is. No. Google misunderstood my question. So Florida is the fourth oldest state, according to the latest census. Florida is the fourth oldest state. But as far as population, it is by far the biggest oldest state. The other oldest states are Vermont, New Hampshire, and West Virginia. So obviously Florida much bigger than them. But Florida, obviously one of the older states. So I don't know if you can use this as the example of social media doesn't equate to political victories, even though I do think that that's still true. That's probably still true state, no matter what state you're in. But I think Florida being probably one of the older, more boomer-dominated political states, you're not surprised that Fishback's social media campaign and social media popularity did not equate to a political victory. I don't think you're too surprised at that. You know, I think if you're being fair and being honest, I think you say you finish above 10%. He just eclipses 10%. You say good effort. I think you say good effort. You know, all things considered, Byron Donalds had the GOP. He had the foreign lobby. I mean, he had the whole establishment behind him. He had the name recognition. He has the experience. He was obviously the heavy favorite. And look, all things considered, I know people have their issues with Donalds. And, this stuff always comes out on campaign trails. All things considered, Donalds is not that bad. We'll see what he does as governor. But people will always have their issues, and it just looks like another, the Republican establishment still in control, the foreign lobby still in control. But I don't know. I think when you look at the details here, it shows Fishback won with younger voters, specifically under 30. So you see where this is going. You see where the future of the country is going. Now, I will say when you crunch all the numbers together, things look good for Florida. The Democrats did not even come close to the turnout of the Republicans. Now, the only issue you might have there is you could say, well, you know, Paul Renner, James Fishback, these are two kind of anti-establishment, dissident right-wing candidates. Will their voters not show up for Donald's? Well, you can't say that 100% of them wouldn't. Let's just say half of them wouldn't. Well, the Republicans still win. So I think you know, it looks like Donald's is probably well on his way to winning that governor's seat. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now, here was another crazy result. Again, the overall numbers favor Republicans, meaning Ashley Moody looks like she's pretty much a shoo-in to become the senator. So I don't think there's going to be any issues there for Republicans. But Angie Nixon defeating Alex Vindman is a pretty crazy one to me. Vindman obviously has the name recognition. He was the establishment Democrat, and Nixon was the kind of dissident left DSA candidate. So that was kind of a shock victory that comes out of nowhere. That kind of shocked everybody. But I think, again, it just shows you, and again, I don't think Florida is the best example of this. Florida's kind of an enigma, a lot of retirees down there. I don't know where there's so many socialists in Florida, but apparently enough to give Nixon this victory. It just shows to me that the dissident left, the anti-establishment left, they're gaining ground in the Democrat Party or through the Democrat Party as a political vehicle, while the dissident right is still kind of being left in the dust. The dissident right is still being gatekept and pushed back. And so where this goes for 26, where this goes for 28, I think we're going to find out here in a couple of months, obviously after the midterms. But that's kind of what the Nixon victory represents to me, is that the left is way ahead of the right as far as the anti-establishment sentiment is concerned, actually getting a vehicle through the Democrat Party. She just comes out of nowhere, man. I mean, really, who was even talking about her? Nobody. Now, here's perhaps the most consequential result from last night. The Alaska primary. I've told you that I think that the entire Senate could come down to Alaska. And last night, Mary Peltola won pretty significantly. Now, Alaska has, this is important. It also might be completely retarded, but Alaska has ranked choice voting. I don't even want to get into the complexities of how the thing works. It's, you know, you can imagine. But either way, Peltola comes out in a pretty heavy victory here. This is a 5-point victory, 5% victory. And even if you take all the other candidates and you give the votes to Sullivan, the Republican, Peltola still wins. This is bad news for the Republicans right here. Now, this whole Dan Sullivan, you know, Trump believes, he posted this, by the way. Trump thinks that there was some shenanigans here. He thinks the Democrats did this because there were two Dan Sullivans on the Republican side of the ballot, two Dan Sullivans. And so Trump is saying this was a Democrat trick, and they did this to, you know, hurt Dan Sullivan. But I don't really know if that makes sense to me. It obviously, whoever did it, I doubt it's a coincidence. So let's assume it's not a coincidence and that there are some shenanigans here. I think that's a safe assumption. They obviously did this because of the ranked choice voting system. So whatever it is, I actually think the Republicans did it. I just don't understand how this gives the Democrats any advantage. If anything, you would put the Sullivan on the ticket as a Democrat, I would think. To put him on as a Republican, I feel like only helps him, because If you can't decide, well, which one is the Dan Sullivan? Well, you're putting both of them up there. So I don't know. Obviously, some shenanigans there. But whatever you think about that, the numbers in Alaska, not good, guys. Not good. And Alaska could be the state that gives the Democrats the Senate. So how do you respond to that if you're Trump? They're going to have to do something. Believe me, you're probably going to hear more about this Alaska race than any other Alaska race ever. That's how big this one is going to be. I think everybody's going to figure it out pretty soon here. I think we got a couple more rounds of primaries, and then it's just the midterms ahead of us. I think everybody's going to figure it out pretty soon that this thing could all come down to Alaska, especially as some of these numbers start to come in and candidates start to separate, like in a Georgia situation where it looks like Ossoff is slowly but surely becoming a very heavy favorite. I think you're going to hear more about this Alaska race than any Alaska race you've ever heard about in your life. I think it's only a matter of time now before the Republicans realize if we don't win Alaska, we might be screwed. We might lose the Senate. So I anticipate a big focus on Alaska and somehow Trump trying to get involved as well. But you know what, guys? You know what really matters? You know what really matters anytime we vote? What really matters is that Israel is getting what it wants. And so AIPAC is here to remind you of that. They congratulate their 21 pro-Israel candidates who won the primaries in Florida. It's really amazing, isn't it? You know, if you say that the Israel lobby has control of Congress, you're called names and it's denied on its face. But then here's the Israeli lobby basically bragging about how they own Congress. And it might be worth mentioning that Israel is a foreign country. I know, it's crazy. And you've got Darlene Graham. She's doing these sit-down interviews. And she's talking about how she'll stay loyal to Israel. I will stand with Israel, she says. Israel is a foreign country. Why are all of our politicians standing with a foreign country? Can somebody explain this to me? Good God. And it's like, and you know who's the biggest cuck? The biggest cucks to it right now are all the so-called American patriots on the right wing. What in the hell is this Twilight Zone? All of the flag-waving American patriots on the right are the biggest cucks to a foreign country and foreign interests. Somebody explain that to me. Is it pure brainwashing? What is it? We're all seeing it. And this is exactly why they attack me. Because I'm not a cuck. I'm not a fake patriot. I don't stand with foreign countries like a traitor. You want to see, guys, look at how bad this is. So obviously Mike Rogers is, he's running against El Said. That race looks very tight, by the way. Polls are going both ways. So that one's going to be neck and neck. So Rogers puts out this as a political ad. Guys, I'm just going to, here's what we're going to do. I want you to focus here, guys. I want you to focus here. Rogers running for the Senate against El Said. He puts up this political ad, guys. I want you to watch this political ad that Republican Senate candidate Mike Rogers just published.
I'm Chelsea from West Bloomfield. I am a pissed off Democrat. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I voted for Obama. I voted for Hillary. I voted for Slotkin. I voted for Haley Stevens. And now I'm voting for Mike Rogers. This is no longer vote blue no matter who. We need to wake up and realize that it's not party over everything. We need to vote for the candidates that actually share our values. And that's why I'm voting for Mike Rogers. He is the best candidate for the job. I am Chelsea from West Bloomfield, and I'm with Mike Rogers because he will get to work for Michigan Democrats like me.
All right. Now, do I even need to say it? Do I even need to say it? So this is Michigan, by the way. This is where they're actually running right here, the state of Michigan. And yet, This is what he puts out as a campaign ad, a woman that is clearly pro-Israel. There's nothing American about this image. Zero, zilch, nada. She has two foreign objects as far as foreign interests are concerned. She has the State of Israel and she has the Star of Israel. Are you Jewish, ma'am? Why did you dye your hair blonde? Is it for the same reason I did or what? Why did you dye your hair blonde? Or are you European? I don't know, but I do know that you have the Star of David and the State of Israel around your neck. And this is what Mike Rogers puts up as a campaign ad ahead of the Senate election. Not even an American flag. It's like they didn't even bother saying, hey, you know what? You have a foreign country that you're putting on display right now. Let's put that inside of the shirt. Because they said the opposite, obviously. They told her to put it outside of the shirt. And then they said, nobody even thought, hey, look, can we put an American flag in this shot anywhere? Like, can we just like plant an American flag in the ground? Or hell, we'll pay $100 to install a flagpole right here on the side of your house, the side of your garage. You know, just put one of those little flagpoles up. We'll pay you $100. You can fly a nice flag at your house so we can have it in the ad. No, nobody even thinks that. They say, hey, Mike Rogers needs a campaign ad for Senate. Make sure that Israel is in it. Make sure that Israel is the only country represented in this campaign ad. I mean, if this doesn't tell you everything, I don't know what does. And then they call you names and they call you crazy and they insult you for simply pointing out the facts, for simply noticing the obvious. You can't deny anything I've just said. It's right there. This is a Republican campaign ad for Senate, and there's not a single American anything in it. Instead, it's the State of Israel. Golly gee. Golly gee, guys. And then they'll be shocked. They'll be stunned if El Sayed wins. Shocked. Well, I don't know. Maybe don't be pure foreign propagandists. Maybe don't put foreign interest and foreign countries over our own. Just a concept, even if you have to lie about it, even if you have to fake it. It's like, hey, ma'am, can you put a crucifix on and can we put an American flag behind you? That would do way better for us. It's like, no. Instead, they said, hey, we don't want any American images. And can you make sure everybody sees that you're an Israeli? Can you make sure everybody knows you love Israel? We're running for our Senate, by the way. Okay. But hey, I'm the crazy one. I'm the bad one because I won't sell out to foreign interests. I'm the bad one because I actually expected Trump to have a conservative policy and follow through with his campaign promises. Hey, you know what, guys? That's the new thing. If you want to be an American patriot, if you want to be a Republican, you have to serve Israel, and you have to put Israel first. And if you're not interested in doing that, then we're not interested in you. And somehow this is patriotic. And somehow this is conservative and America first. This has to be one of the craziest things. Of all the things that we've witnessed in American politics, in modern history, call it the Trump era, of all the crazy things that we've witnessed, maybe it's like the recent memory bias, but this has to be one of the craziest things, that they're trying to convince you somehow that serving a foreign country and serving foreign interest is somehow in your best interest and your country's best interest in America first. And they've been arguing this for a year and a half. It is truly one of the strangest things. It's one of the most Twilight Zone things. It's one of the most Orwellian things. It's like we're living in They Live. It's like we're a real-life version of the Body Snatchers. Crazy times, guys. Absolutely crazy times. All right, when we come back, we got a ton of Trump audio. Tons and tons of Trump audio. In fact, Trump made a statement that barely made the news, and it's kind of funny because he says at the end of this statement, he says, that's kind of a big news story right there, kind of a big headline. It's like he's telling people, hey, this is a big story I just gave you. And like the media didn't even blink. I was shocked. There was nothing in the media. So we'll explain that coming up. And it shows you how the whole geopolitical picture is shifting right now. And what we anticipated, what we have anticipated for a while, it looks like they're moving forward that agenda when it comes to Turkey and NATO specifically. So we take our first break of the show. All of that and more coming up.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
political light years ahead of the rest. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
You know, guys, I forgot to mention, I got a request for you. If you would, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, give us a follow on YouTube, guys. The Owen Report on YouTube. We're about to cross 70K. That would mean an awfully lot to me if you could help us grow the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. All right. Second hour of today's transmission. We're going to play a lot of Trump videos, Trump clips here, and then we will get into the geopolitics and the latest in the Iran war. But Trump was basically showing off some of the construction projects in D.C. today. So we got a lot of that. I do want to go back to something Trump said about flock cameras yesterday that I think is an indicator that the Republicans figured it out. That, you know what, nobody likes the data centers and nobody likes the surveillance state. And so we have to kind of recalibrate how we're going to handle these things in the midterms. Now, obviously, maybe you think the Democrats would stop this, but they probably wouldn't. They'd probably fold if they got into power too. I don't think the Democrats are a serious obstacle to turning America into an AI surveillance state. But if you had to bet and say which party is going to give us a better shot at stopping the AI surveillance state, at least in the current political atmosphere, you'd probably say Democrats. So just because the Republicans or the Trump administration is going to pivot on the data centers and the surveillance state, I don't trust them at all. I think that's just a midterm pitch. And to me, this is President Trump. Essentially, I translate this as this is exactly what they're considering. Hey, we may have to pivot during the midterms on the surveillance state and the data centers, but don't worry, you're still going to get them.
There's a lot of debate right now about these license plate scanners that are going up across the country. They're called flock cameras. People are worried that the police might misuse them. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
Or what's your stance?
Well, it's being studied right now. You have pros and cons, right? It's being studied right now. We'll have an answer sort of as to our views on it over the next couple of weeks.
You'll have an answer on our views over the next couple of weeks. So, really, President Trump? Because for the last couple of months, you've been telling us how important the data centers are. For the last couple of months, the Trump administration and the GOP at large have been promoting the surveillance state and promoting the data centers. So now they figured it out. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just so frustrating. I tell you, I give millions of dollars of campaign advice here. I give millions of dollars worth of political advice on this show. I do it for free. It should be a tax write-off. It should be a tax deduction. It's a charitable thing. Oh, how many people did the Trump administration have to pay to tell them, Mr. President, flock cameras aren't popular? How many political advisors, think tanks, all these different groups, how many of them got paid to tell Trump and the Republicans, hey, data centers aren't popular? I mean, it's just like, what is going on, man? What is going on? But to me, he just admits it. He admits it.
Have you heard of them?
Yep.
What's your stance?
Well, it's being studied right now. You have pros and cons, right? It's being studied right now. We'll have an answer sort of as to our views on it over the next couple of weeks.
So, in other words, we've figured it out. It's really unpopular. All the pro-data center and pro-surveillance state propaganda that we've been feeding you for the last couple of months is extremely unpopular, and it's hurting our chances in the midterms. So we're going to pivot ahead of the midterms. We're going to pretend like we're not actually building an AI surveillance state. So hopefully you vote for Republicans in the midterms. But at the end of the day, it's really just a campaign pitch, and you're still going to get the AI surveillance state and the data centers. Okay? And there's Trump basically admitting it. So, I guess, it's a competitive against China. Oh, we need it against China. Oh, it's imperative for national security. So it's all a lie. It's all a lie all the time. All right. Now, I'm not so down about this. Trump talking about some of the reconstruction happening at the White House. You know, I kind of take the good with the bad. I'll play these clips. For example, I've actually been a proponent of some of Trump's beautification projects. I'm kind of a sucker for gold. So like him painting a lot of these things gold and refinishing it, I actually like that. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the beautification of D.C. and cleaning up D.C. I'd like to see it nationwide. So I actually support that. And all things considered, that is a very cheap expense compared to Trump's vanity projects like the ballroom and the reflecting pool that's totally butchered now. So it's like there's a difference between the beautification of D.C. that I support, the cleaning up our cities that I support, and then Trump vanity projects that have just been like a pit, a money pit and a literal pit. So I think there's kind of a two-way street here. Some of it I like, some of it I don't like. But he gets into some of it today. He's talking about it, giving a tour of it today. You know, here's the problem. I'm going to play this and kind of tell you my lingering problem as far as I want to be positive about this. I want to support this, cleaning up D.C., and, you know, fixing up the White House. Like I do. I support that. That is what I voted for. But it's hard. It's hard to take anything he says seriously on these projects after what we saw at the reflecting pool. And the ballroom even. And so it's hard to take any of this seriously. It's hard to take any of it at face value. It's like, I want to support it, but I saw what you did with the reflecting pool. I've seen what you've done with the ballroom and how you've been lying to us about it. And so it's like, it's hard to like any of it now. But we'll try to take it neutrally here as he explains some of the projects ongoing.
Before we go in, you might take a look at the facade of the White House. The facade was in very bad shape. It had never been touched before other than some paint slopped on it. And we took it down to the basic. We took it down to the base. And again, we're talking about 1792. Much of this is up from 1792. There haven't been that many additions. And if you take a look at the stone, look how perfect the stone is. If you would have looked at it, if you noticed, some people noticed, I noticed it every time I walked in. I noticed it 15 years ago when I came to the White House. I said, boy, the face of the building is in very, very bad shape. Big chips out of it, broken stone. It was in very bad shape, and you can see it now. That's just a temporary cover for shade for the workers because it's so hot. But the canopy will go back on. So you look at the stone, look at the columns, how perfect they are. They were so bad that when you looked up, you'd say, boy, those things are in bad shape. They had literally chunks of stone out of them missing. And now they're really in flawless condition. So it's very good. Very proud to do it. Enjoy it, and very proud to do it. Again, you have the facade, and this goes down here. The facade of the building connects in here. And the helipad, I think you'll be very excited to see. It's really something very, very special. Come on over here.
And so he's going to go show him the helipad. We'll respond to that. Again, it's like, I want to support this. I want to like this. If we're fixing up the White House and making it look beautiful, I voted for that. I like that. And there's no doubt Trump has class and an eye when it comes to architecture and beauty. I mean, there's no denying that. So I want to get behind him on this. It's just after what he did at the reflecting pool, it's hard to take anything he says at face value now. But I want to support it. I want to hope that this is all good and above board. Now, you get to the helipad. I'm genuinely curious what people think about the helipad, because you have to understand what is going to happen, and maybe it's for a good thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of like, I'm not sure. But what's going to happen is that walk, the famous walk, the president leaving the White House to Marine One through the grass with the cameras clicking and filming, that's pretty much over with this deal. I'd say that is now a thing of the past. Is that something we really care about? Is that something we want to hold on to? I don't know. It's kind of been a traditional presidential walk to Marine One. So once the helipad is done, that will be no more. Of course, we know that they finished the helipad, and then Trump had him destroy it and rebuild it. So it's already been actually rebuilt. So it's already been a bit of a disaster in and of itself. Here's what I at least hope when this deal is done. I at least hope that they stop doing those pop-up press conferences in front of Marine One while the engines are running. You guys know how I feel about this. It's like, it's the most obnoxious thing they do is they sit there and they try to deliver these sound bites with a damn helicopter engine roaring in the background. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. Like, has anybody ever thought, hey, let's put the media gaggle on the side over here, or let's have the media gaggle in the door so we don't have to hear the engine? It's like it's screeching in my ear. I can't hear the president. So I hope at least that happens, but somehow I doubt it. Somehow I doubt. In fact, I bet if they don't fix that, it's going to be even worse, because now they're going to be standing on this concrete helipad that's just going to amplify the sound, and they'll probably be even closer to the engine. Don't do it. Please, God. Please, God. All right. But here we go. So Trump is now showing off some of the new helipad construction. Let's check it out.
Criticism, and then when they see the final product, they say, that was great.
And I hope he's right about that. I hope that he's right about the final product. And I have no doubt he's got the taste to do it. It's just a matter of, is it all being done above board? And, have your debates. This whole Eagle thing does look pretty cool, I got to say. So this is actually helipad part 2. They already tried it once. Trump didn't like it. He had them tear it up, and they're doing a new one now. That Eagle head looks pretty cool.
This will be the greatest military complex / ball.
So now he's talking about the ballroom. Now listen to what he says about the ballroom. This is actually pretty interesting.
The greatest military complex / ballroom anywhere in the world. There won't be anything like it. You know, when I was in China, they have the great room. They have a room that's phenomenal. And I'm not going to get into arguments with anybody. But this beats everything. There's nothing like this anywhere in the world. And they've wanted the ballroom aspect of it for 150 years.
Listen to this one more time.
It's great. This will be the greatest military complex / ballroom anywhere in the world.
So remember when it was considered conspiracy theory that they were building some sort of a military installment under the ballroom, and that's really what this is all about? And of course, all the Trump cultists and all the MAGA turds, they came out. Oh, conspiracy theorists at it again, all this stuff. Well, there it is. Trump just admitted. It's another one of those things where Trump says it, and just because we follow the news and then we say what Trump says, and then the MAGA-tards that don't follow the news, like, they can't even believe it. It's like, no, Trump literally said that. It's like, shut up. You're just a Trump hater. All right, you're the most low information people in American politics now. Congratulations. So that conspiracy theory has now come true. They're building a giant military operation under the ballroom. And I guess, as far as I can tell, they already have the clearance on that. It's the ballroom that they can't get the clearance on. So they've got the whole thing there pretty locked down. The media that goes in and out of the White House, they're constantly around the construction, but they've got the whole thing blocked off. You can't see really inside of it. There have been some pictures that people have been able to get from overhead. In D.C., the building laws, you can't build, I think it's above the Washington Monument, I think is what it is. It has to be the tallest structure. I can't remember the exact law, the zoning laws, but so you can't really get a picture from up above from a building. You can't fly a drone over it, obviously. So there's kind of a mystery element to it. Nobody really knows exactly what's going on, but it's all happening underground. So whatever it is they're building underground, it looks like Trump is confident that deal is going to get done. And then maybe you get a ballroom, maybe you don't. And until then, it's just a giant hole in the ground. Very ugly. Okay. Yeah, let's go right to the helipad now. So Trump is now happy with the helipad. They tried it once, didn't like it, so they redid it. Looks nice. Looks nice. Here's Trump debuting the new helipad with the media.
Nice job, fellas.
Let me just say, as they're approaching it here, I am all for the aesthetic. I'm all for improving our country. I am okay with this, guys. I am totally okay with this. This is what I voted for. Here's the problem. Well, I guess there's really two problems. One is it's like the whole thing is just this Trump TV show now. It seems that the whole thing is just a Trump TV show now. It's not even about anything other than Trump TV. And when he's all said and done, it's show over and that's it. And then whatever happens after that, he doesn't care. Nobody cares. And the disasters and the damages that the Trump TV show causes, yeah, good luck. Good luck. And right now it's looking like these disasters and damages, some of them will be permanent. So just like what Trump did during COVID caused permanent damage, everything Trump is doing now is going to cause permanent damage. How bad? That's the only question. So I'm all for certain vanity projects. I'm all for certain rebeautification projects. I voted for that. I think that is a fair and good use of American taxpayer dollars. The problem is you're still sending the hundreds of billions of dollars overseas. You're still spending the hundreds of billions of dollars on foreign wars and foreign interests. So in the backdrop of it, you can't sit here and be like, hey, you know, it's all about America first and all this stuff. You're still spending more on foreign interests than you are on our own country. So it just turns into all vanity projects, all Trump TV show. But hey, the same foreign aid, the same debt, the same deficit, that's all ongoing. So this would be much more worthy of celebration, much more worthy of praise if we weren't still stuck in this loop of never-ending wars, never-ending foreign aid that is crushing our economy. And then it just becomes the Trump TV show. Just lights, camera, action, Trump TV all day. And so he's showing you all these vanity projects because it's just this season of the Trump TV show.
Does anybody know the word media? This is serious media. And you guys are doing a great job. Sorry to take an extra week and a half, but lifting it up was one of the best things we've ever done, right? Lifting it up, right? Thank you, Jared. I knew you didn't like that, but and it's so great. I watched it. There's enough grain. But the lifting it up was a big element. We use this for a lot of different things. So this is a helipad at the highest level. It can land any helicopter in the world, no matter how big, no matter how powerful, no matter how strong. It would. I was explaining for the.
Well, you know, they pitched me a project, and I said, what is that helipad? Is that a helipad for little tykes? What is this? Is this a Nerf helicopter? What are we doing here? They said, President Trump, this is your standard helipad. This is the helipad that they build on all military bases, hospitals, you name it, Mr. President. This is the helipad. That's pretty much all the advanced technology. They pretty much told me it was for a Hot Wheels helicopter. Said, what are you doing here? I'm the president of the United States. It's not some little tykes helicopter. We need the real deal here. It's like, what are you talking? They had some mini helicopter. I felt like Zoolander. It's like, what is this, a helipad for ants? What are we doing here?
Construction people, I was explaining how when the new big Sikorskys landed, the grass was completely wet. Yeah, come on over here, fellas. The grass was, fellas, come on over here.
And by the way, I'm told that this is basically what it sounds like outside the White House most hours of the day, in case you can't hear the constant construction, the banging, the hammering. Apparently, this is what it sounds like most hours of the day right now.
And I just want to say they've done a fantastic job. So if you take a look from the media standpoint, you look at the lettering and you look at the joints, they're like flawless. The exact, like 1/10 of an inch, and it's the exact same size. Right? These are real artists. Where's Brett? I don't want to give him too much credit, and I don't want a lot of people using him, so I'm not going to even mention his name. I'll just say his name is Brett. Because I don't want other people, because we got a lot of work to do, and I want you to stay here. I'm not looking for you to go to other jobs, okay? But the job he's done, he's an artist, Brett Rugo. He's an artist, and when you see in the middle, they're doing the eagle of the United States of America. That's what's in the process, and I guess that's what I'm signing right here. So they're doing, this is the head of the eagle. And when that'll be flipped over, and it'll be amazing. Oh, good. Yeah. Well, there it is. Was this set yesterday? Oh, that's great, yeah. Wow. This is going to look incredible from the air and from every place. And again, this is going to be used for a lot of different celebrations, a lot of different big meetings where As an example, President Xi is coming in a little while, a couple of weeks. And we didn't plan to have this done, but it's gone so well. I delayed them a week with the lift, but that's okay. That was a good delay. That was a very good delay. But President Xi is coming, other heads of state will come, and we can do this all outside. Nice weather like today. And this was not a scheduled press conference, but I thought it's so good what we're doing. People should see, because the White House was in terrible condition. Some of these men worked on the facade of the White House, along with the Department of Interior. Doug Burgum has been fantastic. But they worked on the facade of the White House. And if you look at it now, if you would have looked at it 6-7 months ago, you would have been embarrassed. If you looked at it like I do, I look at it every.
Yeah, so it's all fine and good. We got a couple more. You know, I guess my issue here, my rub here, it's like, oh, you complain about everything. No, I'm happy with this. I voted for this. I'm okay with the re-beautification. But it's the same underlying issue. If this was the sideshow for mass deportations, we're winning. If this was the sideshow for deep state arrests, we would be winning. If this was the sideshow for the Trump administration shattering the CIA and the FBI and every institution that was weaponized against the American people into the dust, then we would be winning. None of that's happening. If Americans weren't coming home in body bags, if we weren't in another war in the Middle East, like if this was a sideshow for the good stuff, then this would be all grand. This would be all bells and whistles, and we could all be happy with it and maybe have your critiques. No, the problem is this is a sideshow to another war in the Middle East. This is a sideshow for more Americans coming home in body bags. This is a sideshow for $4+ a gallon gasoline. So if it was a sideshow while the good stuff was happening, you'd be all hail, right? Okay. But it's a sideshow for all the bad stuff that's happening, and it's hard to celebrate. It's hard to celebrate when it's a sideshow for the bad stuff. I like it. I voted for it. I'm okay with it. But it doesn't change the fact that, hey, you're not going to distract me with some sideshow and say, whoa, look at what Trump did with a helipad. Oh, my gosh, look at what Trump did. Oh, my gosh, look at the new stuff he put. Oh, my gosh. It's like, that's all vanity. Okay, it's nice. It's good. I like nice stuff. The aesthetics are great. Trump has an eye for it. I'm not denying that. But it's a sideshow to all the bad stuff that's happening, and that stuff is more important. So I'm sorry, but yeah, Americans coming home in body bags and $4+ a gallon gasoline kind of overwhelms the nice little vanity projects here. Kind of overwhelms it. I didn't vote for vanity projects. I'm okay with vanity projects. I'll celebrate the re-beautification. Not really what I voted for, but I'll take it. But it's a sideshow for all the bad stuff is the problem. So you can't say, oh, look, Trump did that. No, not selling here. But it continues. So he actually signed it. How do you guys feel about Trump putting his signature on the helipad? He's got his name etched into it. Now, I think what he said was this is not going to be on display. My interpretation is that they're going to flip. This is the back of the eagle head where they have his name actually chiseled into it, and he's going to sign it, and he asked everybody else to sign it. But I don't think this is actually going to be shown. I think what he said is they're going to flip this over eventually, and it'll be on the underside of the eagle's head. But again, this is just the purely Trump TV right here. I mean, this is pure Trump television show. That's all this is.
Oh, that's good. That looks pretty good.
Oh, wow.
I think we should use this side. We're using the wrong side. We're flipping it. What do you think? Can we use this? Is that good? I'll tell you what's. That's good. So this is the back piece. This won't be revealed. This is the back of the eagle's head. This is the eagle exact of the. You look how fine that's cut. When you see it, you won't even believe it. And from the air, it looks so beautiful. But this is the back of the piece, and they flip it and they put it down, so nobody will see that unless in 400, 500 years they start taking it apart. So probably nobody will see it, I guess. Actually, I hope nobody ever sees it, because there's only one reason they'd see it. But I think I'd like to sign it, and I'd like to have some of the main construction guys like yourselves and some of your top guys sign it too. You can sign this whole piece. Then we're going to put the coins. These are special coins we had. And we're going to put the coins along with it. We may put a couple facing up in some area where you have concrete that's wet. I don't know if you have any of those areas. I'm not sure that you
Have
do.
some right there first.
But you could put one of these into the concrete facing up, so people see,
sir.
because you're not going to find nice. So they're going to take some of these coins, which are somewhat different. These are coins that, like I gave to the young man the lifeguard who saved the young boy, because he was truly a hero.
Yeah, by the way, that was epic. I never covered that. Everybody probably saw the video, and, Trump invited that guy to the White House. That was really cool. Young guys, if there's any young guys, young girls out there listening, or you have parents listening that have kids, maybe they're getting to that age where maybe they're starting to look at summer jobs or something. Lifeguarding is the best job ever. It truly is the best job ever for many reasons. And that lifeguard's probably that saved a life that day. I was a lifeguard growing up. I lifeguarded from age every summer from 15 to 21. And then I tried to get a job as a pool manager. They went with another person, and that was it for me. It was at a really nice country club. That would have been just a total lifestyle job. So it's probably good I didn't get it. But I made a couple saves in my day. In a pool. So nothing like that. That was so heroic what that lifeguard did. When you're a lifeguard at a beach like that, that is serious business. So that was cool for Trump to do that. So, okay. You know what would be cool here, though, guys?
And these will go like that. These are 3 different coins, all different.
All right. We got a bunch of challenge coins. All right, I think you get the point. You know what would be cool here? We got a couple more of these. If I had, James Comey and Letitia James and the rest of the deep state criminals in the background in handcuffs, And Trump came out and he said, "How's everybody doing? We got a beautiful day in D.C. We're going to be revealing the new helipad and some of the cool stuff we've been doing here with the beautification project. Now, come on, bring them out. We have the U.S. Marshals here today. We've brought out some of the deep state criminals. Bring them on out here. They're in their cuffs. They're in their orange jumpsuits. Look at them. Here's James Comey. I decided I'd let them come see this today. They don't see much. They're in a cage all day. Where they belong. Sitting and rotting in a cage." And we said, you know what? Let's let them know what we're doing. Let's show them some of our victories. Come on, bring out Clapper. Bring out Brennan. Here they come. Look at these crooks. Look at these bastards, these villains. They're all in prison now, but we brought them out here. We wanted to show off what we're doing. Look at what we're doing, guys. He stares them straight. Look at what we're doing, guys. Look at beautiful, beautiful Washington, D.C. Beautiful White House reconstruction, beautification projects. Look at what we're doing. Do you like that? This is the last time you're going to see it. That's it. I just wanted you to see the victories we're having. I wanted you to see that you couldn't stop us from saving the country. All right, send them back to the cell. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, deep state. We're draining the swamp. No, actually, all of those men and women still walk free. That'd be fun, though. I think that'd be a good time. All right, the media finally got to asking questions of a serious nature. And so let's go to a little bit of that before we actually get into the geopolitics here.
About what?
Maybe at some point, but right now, I think the situation is so good. But maybe at some point. Look, it's very simple. They have to get rid of no nuclear weapons. Iran cannot have a nuclear. You know why? Because they'd use it. And we're not going to let them use it. So Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
So now it's just Trump slopping the same propaganda. It's just pure slopaganda. And it's just pathetic that MAGA falls for it now. It's more pathetic that MAGA falls for it than that Trump is doing it. And he says things are going so great in Iran. Wow, that's okay. Again, just pure slopaganda. The logic here, guys, it just proves it's such BS. Honestly, it just proves it's such BS. Iran can't get a nuke because they'd use it. Well, why does Israel have nukes? Why does anybody have nukes? It's because they plan to use it. So everybody has nukes because they would plan to use it, but Iran can't have a nuke because they'd use it. Who has the Samson option, by the way? Is that Iran? Is that Iran's Samson option, or is that someone else's Samson option? Was there a president of the United States that essentially threatened to nuke Iran or wipe an entire civilization off the map? Oh, okay. Iran is too crazy to have nukes, even though they don't have a nuke, and other countries do have a nuke and threaten to use nukes. Okay. Oh, no, but the illogic doesn't stop there. Now Trump is cozying up to North Korea. Now Trump is cozying up to North Korea, who has nukes. Nobody talks about how Kim Jong-un can't have nukes. Isn't that funny? And now Trump says, I want to meet with Kim Jong-un. He's a friend. So it's totally illogical. There's no logical consistency to this foreign policy. And it's obvious. The truth is, we're doing this for Israel. Go into whatever complex details of it you want. We are not doing this because Iran has a nuke. We are not doing this because Iran's leadership is more crazy or corrupt than anyone else's. We're doing this because Israel wants us to. Period. End of story. That's it. The whole nuke logic falls apart is immediately when you start to question it. And they don't even have the nuke anyway. So he was asked again about the Strait and the oil.
Oil coming in, a lot of oil. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a lot of oil coming in. A lot. In fact, people are amazed. One of the reasons that oil hasn't gone to like the proverbial $300 a barrel, it's at 83, 84, 85. And it'll be a lot lower when this is over. Oil coming in.
Yeah, well, we've been hearing that for over a year now, and it still hasn't happened. And as far as the Strait, who really knows? Who really knows? There were reports that you can get into the complexities of it. I'm saying who really knows. But the reports are that there's some areas of the Strait that the U.S. is in control of. There's other areas in the Strait that Iran is in control of. And maybe depending on who you're in good terms with at that time, they'll either let you through or they won't. Sometimes they're charging, sometimes they're not. The latest is apparently China. There were 2 Chinese tankers that tried to go through each side. They got blocked at the Iranian side. They got let through at the American side. Either way, though, the oil is not flowing. Trump does not have full control over the situation. These are just the facts. Now, before we get back into that region, Trump said this about NATO. And the backdrop of this is so key because we obviously see what's going on. But just keep in mind, Ukraine is not a NATO country. Ukraine is not a NATO country, and yet they have gotten all of the support. Probably, Ukraine has probably received more support from NATO than any other country ever in the existence of NATO. And it's not even a NATO country. Now, Turkey is under attack from Israel. Israel is building up for a war with Turkey. Turkey is a NATO country. Okay? And so then Trump comes out and says this, with that backdrop, Trump comes out and says this about NATO.
Not sticking together. I think that NATO made a terrible mistake when they wouldn't send a small amount of military armament, when they wouldn't send, just even acknowledge what we were doing for the world and taking on Iran. I never considered it very risky, but war is always risk. You know, a lot of strange things happen in war that are very bad, but
yeah, you promised no new wars. You got us into a new war. Dozens of Americans are dead. Military morale is down. Gas is up. And everybody's pissed. Yeah, I guess you didn't see that one coming, huh?
I didn't consider it. I know how great we're the greatest military by far. Anywhere there was nobody close. I didn't think there was a big risk, but there's always surprises with war. They can be very bad surprises. I mean, war.
By the way, all of his American intelligence officials all warned him this would happen, by the way. All of them. Every single U.S. intelligence faction told him this is exactly what would happen. You know who said all of this would be fine? Israel. All the Israeli intelligence said, Trump, you can take out Iran. It'll take 2 days. It'll take 2 days. We'll take it all over. Iranians will take over. Oil will be down. Israel gave Trump nothing but bad intelligence, and they trapped Trump into this war, and he believed them. All the U.S. intelligence told him this is exactly what would happen. Gas would go up, the Strait would become an issue, and there's really no option for victory other than either an all-out massacre or boots on the ground. He was told this by all of his American intelligence, and he ignored it and instead acted on behalf of Israel's intelligence. And now he stands up there and says, oh, gee, didn't see it coming. Nobody knew.
Wars are lost that should be won. Many wars are lost. You think a country is going to wipe somebody out, and they end up getting wiped out themselves. So it's always risky. But I think a tremendous mistake was when NATO just wasn't there. They just weren't there.
Well, what role does NATO have in serving Israel's interests? Israel's not a NATO country. Oh, NATO is just owned now? By who? By what? The same foreign lobby that owns America?
It's going to make a lot of money for the United States because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, hundreds of protecting them. And we would have always been there for them. But now, based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we?
Mr. President.
That sounds like a breaking story, yes, sir. Is that breaking news?
So this is a strange one. I totally support getting out of NATO. I've been calling for the U.S. to get out of NATO for years. And so I'm sitting here questioning, it's like, all right, well, I support getting out of NATO. We're obviously doing it for the wrong reason, if such a wrong reason exists, but it's clear why we're doing it. Trump is going to leave NATO so Israel can launch a war with Turkey, and we won't be under an agreement to defend Turkey. So that's what this all is. So Trump is leaving NATO, not for America's interest, but for Israel's interest. Let's just say it. It's true. It's what everything is about. I mean, just look at the timing of it. You think that's all a coincidence? Come on. Don't be so naive. We've been fighting for Ukraine. We've spent hundreds of billions of dollars for Ukraine. It's not even a NATO country. And now that a NATO country is being attacked by Israel, now Trump wants out of NATO. Oh, I'm sure that's just a coincidence. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, guys. Like everything else in this administration going Israel's way. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. Nothing to do with Marian Adelson's money, the AIPAC lobby money, or the Epstein list. I'm sure. I'm sure. So it's like I support getting out of NATO, but I also see what is on the other side of that, and that's not good. It's not good what's on the other side of that. A larger war with Turkey for Israel's interest, folks, that'll be worse. That'll be 10 times worse than what's going on in Iran. You really think Israel's going to go fight Turkey? Come on. Just like Israel's fighting Iran, just like Israel fought in Afghanistan and Iraq. Come on. Seriously? Don't be so naive. You know who's fighting Turkey for Israel. It ain't the IDF, brother. And that's what's on the other side of this now. So, hey, I support leaving NATO. It's about damn time. This is decades long overdue. Save us the money. Save us the headache. I'm all for it. But now I see this is why we're doing it. And what's on the other side? Not good. Not good. And then there's Mark Levin. We all know his role in all of this. So it's a funny thing. I think Mark Levin is, he's really either ignorant to how the world works now. I don't know how else I could chalk this up other than to say maybe Mark Levin is just the biggest liar ever. The biggest phony fraud liar ever. And it's his job, I think, to be acting as a fake American patriot conservative for Israel's interest, or maybe along the way he just decided that's what he was going to do. So he's again attacking the same people. He says neo-nationalists, woke Reich, neo-fascists, anybody that opposes war. Anybody that wants to stop Mark Levin's desire for bloodshed, anybody that wants to stop Mark Levin's bloodlust and warmongering. And he says Trump never said no new wars. Listen to this.
But I'm talking about these individuals, these woke Reich, isolationists and neo-fascists. They keep saying the president ran on no wars. The president ran on no wars. No, he didn't. Play me the audio.
You got it, Mark.
As Donald Trump.
And I'm proud to
hold on. Let's encapsulate this even better. Let's really encapsulate this even better. Here we go.
The neo-fascists. They keep saying the president ran on no wars. The president ran on no wars. No, he didn't. Play me the audio.
And I'm proud to be the first president
in decades who started no new wars. That's very good. No new wars. Instead, I brought our troops back home. No new wars.
As Donald Trump campaigned for his second term, a promise.
No new war. They said his personality will create wars. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. Look at him, listen to him. He's going to start a war. Listen to his rhetoric. They thought I was going to start a war. Let me tell you something. I'm going to stop World War III.
And at his inauguration, he vowed to keep his promise.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
And he has failed on both of those two fronts miserably. Trump has failed miserably at a peacemaker. Trump has failed miserably at a uniter. F on both accounts. Total failure on both accounts. MAGA coalition completely destroyed. The right wing politically completely shattered. No unification. He sold out to the foreign lobby, started new wars, totally broke that promise as well. You could argue there's more war now. You could make a case that there's more war now than there was before Trump got into office. And it's not going the direction of peace either. It's going the direction of more war. So Mark Levin says, Trump never said no new wars. Play the audio. There's the audio, Mark. There it is. What are you going to say now, you total phony, you total fraud, you total traitor? But I look at that. And I think, how does somebody like Mark Levin go on air and say Trump never said no new wars? Now, I don't think he's ignorant. Mark Levin knows damn well that Trump promised no new wars. Mark Levin knows that. He's lying. Mark Levin is a liar. But you have to wonder, why would Mark Levin go on air and claim Trump never said no new wars? He never said no new wars during his campaign. He never campaigned on that. Play me the audio. Why would Mark Levin say that, knowing damn well it's a lie and that we can play the audio? Why would he do that? And the only thing I can think, okay, Mark Levin obviously has no problem lying to his audience. Mark Levin has no problem at all being a total liar and a war propagandist. It's fair to reach that conclusion. And yet, why would he say something that he knows can be so easily proven wrong? But I'm thinking, I don't think Mark Levin I don't think he understands how media works anymore. I feel like Mark Levin is still trapped in like the 90s or something, where it used to be a lot harder to pull archives. Pulling archives before the age of the internet that we're in now, pulling archives was very tedious. It was very difficult to do. And really, for most people, it was impossible. Unless you had like TV archives or like access to the archives. This stuff didn't even start to really build on the internet until the early 2000s. And even then it was very, like Neanderthal-ish, very clunky. These days there's sites where you can go and they aggregate stuff and find clips. You can find it virtually anywhere now. But it's like Mark Levin probably is stuck in this day and age where he thinks he can say something on his show that he knows is a lie, and he doesn't understand that in the modern day of the internet, we can pull the clips. We can literally pull the exact clip that we're looking for, and we can play it and say, see, Mark Levin, you're wrong, or see, Mark Levin, you're a total liar. And I feel like there's a whole portion of the American political body, there's a whole arm of the American political body, whether it's in media, whether it's in D.C., and they're like Mark, and they can't even comprehend that this is how it works. I'm serious. I don't think they understand that if you say Trump never campaigned on no new wars, that within seconds, thousands of people on the internet can go find multiple clips of Trump saying no new wars. These people really think they can get away with lying to you every day. They really believe that they can control your mind. They really believe that they have you totally under brainwashing mind control. And this is why they attack people like me. This is why they're trying to censor the internet, because they know, hey, we're losing grip of the people and my lies and distortions can be disproven in milliseconds. We have to stop it at the source. We have to censor the internet. We have to censor the people that play the stuff we want censored. And doesn't it just show now, too, how whatever this MAGA is, it's just totally fake? It's just totally fake. If MAGA was still a serious movement, or whoever still exists in MAGA was still in any way, shape, or form what it once was, you do know that they would be pulling the clips, just like I did, of Mark Levin saying, play me the audio of No New Wars, and then playing the Trump audio of No New Wars. Like, you know, this is what MAGA media did for about the last 8 years. They took clips of people in the media. They took clips of people saying things in the media that weren't true, and then they followed it up with the video and or audio evidence of the exact thing. This was a very core MAGA internet phenomenon for about 8 years. But they're never going to do that now. Oh, no. They're not going to show you all the Trump clips of him saying $2 a gallon gas. They're not going to show you all the Trump clips of him saying no new wars. They're not going to take the Trump clips of him talking about how the foreign lobby owns the government. Oh, no. They're not going to call out Mark Levin and the rest of the foreign interest phonies in our media lying to the American people. Now they run cover for it. Now they engage in promoting it. That's your modern day MAGA. And it actually makes sense. It actually makes sense if you think about it, because Mark Levin, of course, was the original never Trumper. Mark Levin said he would never vote for Trump and he would do everything possible to stop Trump from becoming president. Now he's the biggest Trump supporter, the biggest MAGA contributor. That should tell you everything, guys. MAGA is now the polar opposite of what it once was. If you were MAGA in 2016, there is no way you're MAGA in 2026. No way. If you're an actual principled person that follows news, that tries some way, shape, form to just catalog general information, doesn't mean you have to be like me, but you just, you catalog information in your head. You try to keep up with things. If you were 2016 MAGA and you have any consistency of logic and policy and ethics, then you are not 2026 MAGA. Because 2026 MAGA is the exact opposite of everything 2016 MAGA was. And Mark Levin going from never Trumper to MAGA cheerleader is the exact proof that you need. The neocons have taken over, guys. The establishment runs MAGA. The establishment runs it now. The foreign interests, the donor class. It's all, MAGA is pure establishment political slop now. 2016 MAGA was anti-establishment. Now it's pure establishment. And that's why all the original MAGA people are all abandoning ship. And it's so tragic. And I've talked about this phenomenon before, but it's true. The people like Mark Levin and the rest, they're all running around with our victory trophy. They're all running around. We built the plane that you guys are flying on. We built the ship that you guys are sailing on. We built the car that you guys are speeding around in. We built it. We paid for it. We suffered for it. We did it. We earned that belt. And then you guys just showed up and took it, and now you're parading around town like it's yours. Fine. Own the wars. Own the dead Americans overseas. Own the disastrous economy. You guys have it now. We don't want it. All right, let's look at these news stories now. Israel confirms striking Syrian airbase, saying Turkey was planning to deploy forces. Well, of course, it's always self-defense. Of course, everything Israel does is in self-defense. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. It's all in self-defense. They innocent and shoot innocent children dozens of times. It's all in their own self-defense. I mean, my God. So we all saw this coming. Israel's next war is going to be against Turkey. We all saw this coming. I don't want to rehash all the other news stories that have been building up for months now. So, okay, it looks like we're reaching that point. Now, Turkey is, of course, denying it. And it wouldn't even make sense for Turkey to do it anyway. It's total BS. But, Turkey slams Israel's untenable claims after strikes on Syrian base. Now, remember, a Turkey base was attacked by Israel. That should be Article 5 of the NATO agreement. So now NATO should be at war with Israel. But I guess Israel has more power than NATO. How is it that a NATO country gets attacked by Israel and NATO doesn't do anything? And now Trump says he wants to leave NATO. So Israel has more control and more power than NATO. Think of that what you want. I don't know how you can reach any other conclusion. So get this one. I think this one's about to heat up fast, guys. I think this one's kind of gone from like a slow boil to this thing might be boiling over pretty soon. Turkey accuses Netanyahu of pursuing expansionist policies after Israeli strike on Syrian airbase. Do we even want to talk about how we turned Syria over to al-Qaeda? Do we even want to get into that? You notice how they never attack Israel, by the way? ISIS never attacks Israel. Al-Qaeda never attacks Israel. And then al-Qaeda takes over Syria, and now Syria is pro-Israel. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? That's strange. Now, the latest with the Iran angle, UAE severs trade with Iran after reported missile strike. So they're saying Iran struck them with a missile. The UAE has suspended trade with Iran after reporting 2 ballistic missiles were launched from the country towards its territorial waters. Now, remember, Israel has missile launch pads in Iran. That is a fact. They bragged about it. Israel penetrated Iran to such a degree that they were able to build military installments, including missile launch sites inside of Iran. So I think it's pretty obvious where this missile probably came from. President Donald Trump confirmed Tuesday that talks with Tehran have fallen apart, keeping the standoff in a volatile deadlock. That's more Groundhog's Day news. Shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz remains slow, despite Trump's claim that it has reopened. So more Groundhog Day stuff there. So I would say this is a pretty high odd that why would Iran even attack the UAE? And they're denying it, of course. Iran war updates. Tehran denies Iran targeted UAE with missiles. Okay. So Iran is denying it. Who does it benefit? Baseless claim. Iran reacts to UAE's attack claims after trade suspension. The comments came after the UAE on Tuesday accused Iran of firing 2 ballistic missiles at shipping in the Gulf, an allegation later denied by Tehran. This isn't the first time missiles have come out of Iran, and Iran said it wasn't us, but they bragged about it, guys. Israel bragged about it, because that's what, it's a strange thing where, like, they brag about how they have all the power, and then you say, hey, why do you have all the power? And they say, I don't have any of the power. What are you talking about? They do this. They can't help themselves. You know? They just can't help themselves. None of this is no new wars, though. And Trump wants to meet with North Korea now, too, because we're so serious about psychotics and communists having nuclear weapons that Trump is abandoning South Korea, who's been one of our greatest allies. But since South Korea won't serve Israel's interest, since South Korea won't go to war in Iran for Israel, Trump is done with South Korea, and now he's cozying up to North Korea. Guys, this is, honestly, if you want to see how nonsensical and illogical foreign policy is, this story right here should tell you everything. This story right here, all the logic that they claim is behind our foreign policy, this just blows it all up. This nukes it, actually. Yeah, this nukes it. So Iran can't have a nuclear weapon because they would use it. Okay, well, why does everybody have a nuclear weapon then? But, okay, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon because they're crazy and they would use it. So we have to do everything to stop them from having a nuke. But then here's North Korea. Has a nuke. We went to war in Korea. The whole Korean War, that happened. And then South Korea became our ally against the nuclear power communist North Koreans, the psychotic communist North Koreans. Our ally was South Korea. We're protecting them from the nuclear threat of North Korea. And Trump just throws it all out the window and says, oh, so because South Korea won't help us in the war with Iran to stop Iran from getting a nuke, we're going to abandon South Korea. We're going to get closer ties with their nuclear neighbor to the north that threatens to nuke them all the time, and we're okay with that. Now, all of this, you put it into a formula and you say, this doesn't make sense. It makes no sense logically at all until you plug in the one most important data point that continues to be proven correct. The only way any of this makes sense is if the Trump administration and its foreign policy is purely in the interests of Israel, and that is it. It makes no other sense. If this is about stopping a nuclear power, if this is about stopping a nuclear threat, if this is about stopping communists or Muslims or psychotic political leadership from having a nuke, well, guess what? It all just got proven a lie because Trump would now cozy up with North Korea and abandon South Korea because they won't go to war in Iran. And so now it all flips and the puzzle reemerges with the exact same conclusion. Everything we are doing with foreign policy is for Israel and for Israel's interests only. It just continues to be proven right. And so the young Americans are asking the obvious questions. Listen to the response here, guys. Listen to the response. A Republican is asked about how the war in Iran benefits young Americans. See if you can even find an answer. See if there's even an answer anywhere here.
Politics. Santiago?
Hi, good evening. I'm a waiter at a local restaurant in Queens, a full-time college student who sleeps an average of 4 hours at night and is still thousands in debt. How is a war in a country half the world away, funded by the taxes pulled from my check, helping me in any way?
Yeah, it's look, it's a valid and it's a tough question. I know for certain, and if we just look at the things the president has put in place in terms of housing and big corporations that are buying up whole neighborhoods, the tax cuts that he extended with the big beautiful bill, the energy policies that we're putting in place to not only make us self-sufficient, but to lessen these dependencies and lower prices, even lowering prescription drug prices. The president's absolutely focused on
Politics. Santiago?
Notice he didn't answer the question. Do I need to play it again? He asked a basic question. Young Americans are in a very tough position financially, economically. It doesn't look good for us. How does a war in Iran help us? He can't answer the question.
Hi, good evening.
He fully deflects.
Who sleeps an average of 4 hours at night.
And by the way, many people can relate to this. I remember being in my 20s, having a similar situation, and not everybody was that way. That was the position I was in. I had to work, 50, 60 hours a week. And part of that meant, I would get maybe 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night. That's what it took. I had a bunch of student debt. It was the same situation. So many people may be able to relate to this, but that's the problem is we don't want this. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think you should be forced to work 50, 60 hours a week in your 20s and there's no other option because of whatever the college debt is or whatever taxes you got to pay. And then it's like our government is over here just spending hundreds of billions of dollars overseas, new wars, new foreign aid, all foreign interest. And it's just like, a young American should be able to look up and say, hey, why do I have to sit here and slave away just to get by while we basically subsidize the entire planet, while we basically subsidize Israel's existence, who none of us like anymore? So, I'm kind of getting sick of paying all these taxes, taxation without representation. I'm kind of getting sick of being just completely robbed by my government here and another war that's not in my interest. And then they can't even answer the question. He just refuses to answer the question. Let's just move on here. I'm going a little long with this. We still got some more foreign policy stuff. But you know what? Let's come back. And we kind of just got raw headlines the rest of the way. We got a couple odds and ends here. It's mostly just raw headlines. Let's take our final break of today's transmission, and we'll come back with the third hour of today's Owen Report on the other side.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Navigating between the sane and insane, it's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, third and final hour of today's transmission. We got quite a few super chats to get through here. I want to make sure we can get to all of those before we sign off. Got to be off at 6 today. You know, we got the Schroyer Soccer League tonight, so can't be missing out. Okay, well, Trump was mentioning gas prices earlier. They're not good. Diesel margins top $100 a barrel to reach record high as supply crunch grows. Of course, we know this is what really affects the bottom line. The cost of living is gas prices, crude prices, diesel prices. So this is why it's so expensive to live here now. We got another war that's driving up energy costs. So the exact opposite of what Trump said he would do. But of course, this is a year in the making, guys. And when all of this started and we said, hey, this is going to be bad. Remember that? When all of this started and we warned this would be bad, they said, don't worry, this will take a couple days, a couple weeks tops. Don't you remember the propaganda, guys? Who remembers the propaganda? Here's a little not so subtle reminder.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers. We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary, short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short term.
Short-term.
Short-term.
Short-term. Short-term and long-term.
Short-term blip.
Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Uh-huh. It's virtually the exact type of propaganda the Biden administration used to run. MAGA falls for it, though. It's pretty sad, isn't it? Pretty sad. By the way, Jared Kushner, he lands an interview here with Fox News's Trey Yingst. It just shows, guys, Trump is just a dishonest person. I'm sorry. It's just true. He's a dishonest person. And he said that Ivanka and Jared would not have a role. It was part of the issue. And he knew that Jared and Ivanka were not popular. And so he told people, no, they won't have a role. And it turns out it looks like Kushner is running foreign policy. In many aspects, it looks like Kushner is running the foreign policy. You know what's funny is, you know, people talk about the looks and the transitions and all of this stuff. You know, Kushner, he looks like he's transitioning into an evil villain here, doesn't he? This doesn't look like the baby-faced, innocent Jared Kushner that we used to see, you know, glowing and, you know, happy. This looks like he's taken on the full evil villain look now. Doesn't this look like full evil villain now?
We're very committed to the fact that we have a plan to rebuild Gaza, but we will not allow Gaza to be rebuilt until the demilitarization occurs. Nobody wants to put more money into a place that's gone on for so long. Until if it's just going to be taken over by terrorists or blown up again.
I mean, this is pure globalism, guys. This is a pure globalist administration here. We're out here prioritizing the Middle East. We're out here prioritizing Israel. Americans are suffering. Domestic policy is not happening. And here we are talking about how important it is to be back in Israel and take Gaza and sell the land. It's just unreal. And this is running the administration.
we're also not going to restrict Israel's right to defend itself if there are any imminent threats. And so
now there's the key thing he says. So Kushner looks like he's gone from just a nice, innocent young man, and now he's decided he's I don't know what this is, but you can see it. He's gone evil. This is the evil villain now. He's decided he's going to be the bad guy. He's going to team up with Israel. He's going to help Israel, murder hundreds of thousands of people. He's going to cover it all up, and then he's going to come get rich on the other side of it. So, I mean, he's just gone full evil now. I just see a pure evil man here now. Here's what you need to understand. When you hear this word, Israel has a right to defend itself, I want you to understand what this means now. And I guess, ask yourself it like this. Israel has a right to defend itself. Okay, what are the parameters of that? What are the restrictions of that? What are the limits of that? And of course, he says, no, there are no limits. There are no restriction. Israel has a right to defend itself. Well, what does that even mean? Folks, let me explain to you what it means. Israel's right to defend itself doesn't end at its borders. Israel's right to defend itself doesn't end in southern Lebanon. Israel's right to defend itself doesn't end in Gaza. Israel's right to defend itself doesn't end when we blow up a school full of 200 girls. Israel's right to defend itself doesn't end in Syria. Israel's right to defend itself won't end when they attack Turkey or Egypt or anyone else. Israel's right to defend itself will make it all the way into your front yard. Israel's right to defend itself will make it all the way into your backyard. Israel's right to defend itself is right here on its phone, attacking you, propagandizing you 24/7, spying on you. When they say Israel has a right to defend itself, you need to understand what they're saying is Israel has a right to dominate you. Israel has a right to own you. Israel has a right to enslave you. That's the logic here. Israel has a right to defend itself, and that right to defend itself is the top priority. It trumps everything else. So if Israel sees that Americans are turning against Israel, guess what? They're going to take action against those Americans. If Israel sees that the internet is turning on Israel, guess what? Israel is going to start censoring the internet. Did you guys see? You've got Israelis, or I don't know who they are, the Stop Anti-Semitism Project. They are spying on people on airplanes, and they're taking pictures of their private messages that they're sending to their friends, and somebody says something anti-Semitic in a text message. They zoom in. They're sitting on an airplane next to this person. They take a picture. They zoom in on his messages on his phone, and they send it probably to the government, and they send it to the Stop Anti-Semitism group. That's Israel defending itself. You have to understand, Israel's right to defend itself ends up with you in the grave. Israel's right to defend itself ends with the end of your First Amendment, the end of your Second Amendment, the end of your Fourth Amendment, and ultimately, if need be, the end of your country. That's what you need to understand. And think about it from a reverse angle. Well, does America have a right to defend itself? What right does America have to defend itself? Does the right of America to defend itself carry the same weight and nature that the right of Israel that it has to defend itself? No. No, it doesn't. And in fact, your government reminds you of that. The DOJ will be sent after you if you say something anti-Semitic. There are dozens of states that have an anti-boycott law for Israel. Israel has more right to defend itself than you do. You as an American, Israel's right to defend itself has trumped your actual Bill of Rights. So you need to understand what it is they're actually saying. When you hear Israel has a right to defend itself, they're not talking about a war. They're not talking about terror attacks. They're not talking about October 7th. No, when they say Israel has a right to defend itself, what they're saying is Israel can do whatever the hell it wants. Israel can maim, murder, rape, pillage, steal, lie, deceive, propagandize, and it's all because Israel has a right to defend itself. That's what it is. It's the most, it is a true superiority complex. It is, what other group of people has a word for just other? Gentile, goy. Tell me one other group on earth. Tell me one other tribe on earth, racial group, ethnic group, religious group that has a word for just other. You're just other. Do you understand the psychology here? Do you understand the inevitable conclusion here? Why do you think they have the Samson option? Israel has a right to defend itself, even if that means ending every other life on this planet and the planet altogether. Do you understand the psychology here? I'll stop right there. But I think you get the point. So ABC News has sued the FCC, claiming First Amendment violations, escalating months-long feud. The lawsuit dials up a battle that has involved Jimmy Kimmel, The View, and diversity policies. So what's ironic about this, from the leftist standpoint, they see the Trump administration trying to engage in censorship, let's say. So they're going to sue, and they're going to say, hey, you can't control our airwaves. You can't decide what goes on ABC. You can't decide what goes on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. And so they're complaining it's a First Amendment violation. Now, of course, the irony here is that this is exactly what the left wing did for years. And really what they did was worse. The only difference is that their avenue was through a private company. So the Democrats censored you, through Facebook, through Twitter, through whatever it is the social media platform was, through YouTube. So the Democrats did engage in outright censorship, but they claimed it was not a violation because it was a private company. Hey, Facebook can censor you. That's not the government. Now, we all know it was top down from the Democrat Party. We all know this was all pay for play within the Democrat Party. We all know this is 100% a left-wing Democrat scheme to censor Americans. But they did it. And now they're complaining they're getting a taste of their own medicine. The only difference is they might have a hook legally because it's the government doing it and not private corporations. But the irony doesn't miss here. The left wing actually engaged in real censorship. The Democrat Party actually engaged in true censorship. But now they're going to sue because they're complaining that they're getting a taste of their own medicine. Now, I don't know, you can like the way the Trump administration is handling this or not. I'm kind of neutral on the whole thing. I would rather see an investigation done into why all of these social media platforms were engaging in all the censorship. And then you can start to review, were there violations here? I'm more concerned about that than going after ABC. Do they even have viewers anymore? I don't know. But this looks like it could end up being a bad outcome for the administration, quite frankly. But we're just supposed to sit here and pretend like the left wasn't engaged in censorship for years? Come on. Give me a break. That's a joke. We got more records, guys. Very conservative stuff here from the president. U.S. interest expense on the national debt hit a record $1.4 trillion over the last 12 months. Since 2020, the cost of servicing U.S. public debt has nearly tripled. If rates remain stable, interest payments are set to rise to $1.7 trillion by November 2028. As a result, interest will surpass Social Security spending as the government's largest outlay for the first time ever. So in other words, Donald Trump, a conservative, no, a liar. Donald Trump will likely leave office, and the annual interest payments could be up to $2 trillion. Mm-hmm. By the way, just to put it into perspective, this is a pie chart, as you can see here on the screen. And actually, this needs to be updated, I think, because the debt did actually hit 40 trillion. So this is a day old. So we're already from 39 trillion to 40 trillion here. U.S. national debt added by presidents. So far, Trump is responsible for 29% of the debt. All other presidents combined, 71%. Trump is responsible for 29% of the debt. Folks, when Donald Trump leaves office, it is highly likely he will be responsible for 1/3 of the country's debt. Tell me what's conservative about that. Tell me how Trump is a conservative in any way, shape, or form. Tell me how there's any fiscal conservatives left in Washington, D.C. Oh, that's right. Thomas Massie, who they just booted. Oh, that's right. Rand Paul, who Trump's obviously attacking. Trump will be responsible for 1/3 of the country's debt when he leaves office. And he's going to leave us with an annual tab of $1.7 trillion. But don't worry, because him and his family are going to be richer than everyone else. Don't worry. Him and his donor friends, they're going to have more money than everybody else in the world. So who cares about the debt? They're taking all the money and getting rich. It's fiscal conservatism, guys. They'll say, oh, you sound like a liberal. You sound like a leftist. No, this is basic fiscal conservatism and basic financial ethics in D.C. You guys are the ones that abandoned that, not us. And it's Elizabeth Warren that actually agrees with Trump as far as fiscal policy is concerned now. So, yeah, enjoy that. Private credit defaults hit 5-year high, even as fundraising surges. So people cannot pay the private debt anymore, private credit debt. Nobody can pay it, so they're just defaulting. Same thing happening. I mean, it's pretty much happening everywhere. Auto loan delinquencies hit 6.9%, blowing past the worst of 2008. We all remember that crash. So Trump is gearing up for a crash worse than Barack Obama's. But you could argue we're in a constant crash anyway, so I don't even know if you can compare. By the way, Trump comes out against South Korea. South Korea's stock market takes such a tank, they had to pause trading. After Trump attacked South Korea for not joining the war, their stock market tanked so badly, they had to pause trading. A similar thing has happened in Japan. Now, I don't think there were any headlines that caused this, but the Japan bailout that the U.S. government tried to engage in looks like it's totally failed. The market in Japan is collapsing again, and now they're dumping U.S. treasuries. They are desperately trying to sell off as much U.S. treasuries as they possibly can. And this is just a month after the U.S. tried to bail them out with treasuries. So that deal didn't work. How do you guys feel about this one? This is an interesting one. I'm sure you probably heard today's stock market news. Moderna, yes, that Moderna, cancer vaccine shows promise in late-stage trial. Moderna stock soars up to 150%. It was at 150 at its highest. I think it closed at like 98. So you had nearly a 100% stock increase at the close today for Moderna. Got up to 150. Now, Moderna, obviously, we know they put out a lot of the COVID shots, the mRNA technology. It was an experimental technology. And I can't help but wonder how much of that experiment was all about this, trying to get a cancer vaccine. So they say they've done it. They think they've done it. Moderna shares more than double on success of mRNA cancer vaccine. So they basically just tested an mRNA shot on you, is what they did. They basically just tested an mRNA shot on all the people of this country. And they justified it because they said, well, maybe we'll be able to cure cancer. And I'll tell you, this is from a Stephen King story, The Island. I think, is it called The Island? Spoiler alert here. No, it's not. It's called, I think it's called Old. I think it's what it's called. It's not a bad movie. Pretty good movie. I think it's called Old. But basically, spoiler alert, the whole story of this movie is how they take people and they bring them onto this island and they test different experimental medical treatments on them unknowingly. They don't know this. But they test these experimental medical technologies on them. They all end up, dying because they're using experimental technology. And then in the end, after they kill off a whole group of people on this island, you don't know this, but then at the end, they flash to the lab and they're all watching it. They all watch all these people die on the island. And then the doctor comes into the lab and he says, okay, we just killed all these people. Moment of silence. And then he says, but because we killed all these people, we have now accomplished this vaccine that will save millions of lives. And so they're like, yeah, we sacrificed you for a technology, and it was well worth it. Well, they didn't know that. This is totally against the Nuremberg Code. This is totally against all different international code. You can't just test products on people without their consent, without their knowledge. That's what they did with the mRNA technology. They said all go to jail. Now, you can sit here and say, if you want to make the argument, you know, crack a few eggs to make an omelet. If you want to make the argument that, hey, this is how it has to be done to advance medical science, well, then that's fine. But you still have to give somebody consent. You still have to give somebody informed consent that they are being tested on with an experimental product. By the way, like, you know, the Hayden Panettiere situation, 36 years old, she dies, cardiac arrest. Is nobody going to ask if she got the vaccine? I don't want to make a big fuss about it, but it's like, let's just be honest. That's what's causing all these heart attacks. It's all this cardiac arrest. It's all these people that got the shot. So they ran that experiment. How many people took that jab and didn't make it? They were told safe and effective. They were lied to. They took the shot. They're no longer with us. And now Moderna gets to come out, make 150% on their stock, and they say, look, we've got a cancer vaccine. Look, the mRNA technology gave us a cancer vaccine. And they likely just tested their product on the entire country without their consent. They belong in jail. Not making double in the stock market. They should be arrested. You say, well, Owen, but maybe this vaccine will cure cancer. Okay. Does that change what happened? Would you like to be that test subject? Would you like to unwittingly be a test subject and then you croak, but on the other side, they get more rich than ever? Would you like to be that individual? Of course not. And that's what's happened. Now, they're saying this is for melanoma. Merck Moderna vaccine cuts recurrence and spread of melanoma, raising new treatment hope. I don't even want to get too conspiratorial about this, guys, but this is likely a self-caused problem solution. It's like problem, reaction, solution scenario. Like the skin cancer, melanoma. It's like, that's probably something you're eating. That's probably something you're putting on your skin. So there's a product out here that's causing this, and then they're just going to reap the whirlwind of causing a secondary product that's going to cure it. So I don't know if it's really the victory we claim it is. You know, it's like, oh, we're curing cancer. It's like, how could you not be for that? It's like, okay, well. So phase 3 trial results of melanoma drug. And they always said that the purpose of this mRNA technology was to target and get rid of cancer. Meanwhile, and I told you guys this, remember everybody was making a big fuss about the COVID charges that were about to happen from the former Fauci advisor, and I said, don't get too excited, it's just a documents charge. Well, now it's official. David Morenz, former NIAID advisor, pleads guilty in COVID-19 record scheme. I told you it was just a documents claim. It was just a documents charge. Now, he pled guilty. He might think he can avoid jail. He's facing a potential 5-year sentence. So you're waiting for the, the conviction hearing here. Or the incarceration hearing, however they want to do it. I bet he avoids jail. But what's interesting about this, I will say, what's interesting is there are 2 co-conspirators. Now, it does seem one is pretty obvious that it's Peter Daszak. That's the conclusion many people are reaching, that Peter Daszak is one of the co-conspirators here. Now, obviously, that name with Ego Health Alliance has been brought up a lot in this whole thing. There's a second co-conspirator, which was described in charging documents as a physician, scientist, and professor who worked for an academic institute that received federal grants. That's interesting. Who could that be? Could it be Fauci? Who could co-conspirator 2 be? People think co-conspirator 1 is going to be Peter Daszak. So there's 2 co-conspirators there. I don't know if this thing is really going away quietly. You know they want it to go away quietly, and I think Morenz is trying to do anything he can to save his own ass and stay out of jail. But this thing goes all the way up, man. The whole COVID-19 creation lab, it goes all the way up. The whole vaccine thing with warp speed, that goes all the way up to Trump. So a lot of this ends up back on Trump. And that's why I don't think anything happens here, guys, because I think a lot of this ends up on Trump, to be honest. All right. Here's a crazy story, of course, out of Palm Beach. What the hell goes on in Palm Beach? Did you guys hear about this one today? I don't know what happened with that. We're just going to move right through that, guys. Sorry. Just saw that. I don't know how long that's been on. We're just going to power right through. Did you guys hear about this? Palm Beach clerk Michael Caruso arrested on child sex charges, suspended. Authorities say more charges are expected against Michael Caruso, accused of molesting a young relative. Well, apparently it's multiple generations of relatives, is what's being alleged here. DeSantis suspended Palm Beach County Clerk Michael Caruso following his arrest on child sex abuse charges. Caruso faces 5 felony accounts, including kidnapping and child molestation related to the alleged abuse of a young relative. So the story goes on here. 67-year-old Republican, former state legislator. Okay, now he's got these charges he's facing. Guys, he is currently held in jail without bond, by the way. Who is Michael Caruso? Check this out. Michael Caruso is the county clerk who forced Palm Beach residents to invest $1 billion in Israeli bonds, 18% of the county's total portfolio. Wow. Michael Caruso, facing charges of child molestation, was a county clerk who forced Palm Beach residents to invest $1 billion in Israel bonds. Michael Caruso, working on behalf of Israel from Florida, now facing child molestation allegations. It doesn't stop there. Michael Caruso is also the co-author of Florida's anti-Semitism censorship bill. Oh. Mike Caruso, allegations of child abuse, sent $1 billion for Israel bonds, and signed the anti-Semitism bill. Interesting, isn't it? Sure, it's just a coincidence. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. This is a funny one, guys. So this is a Zionist lawfare activist, Hillel Neuer, and he goes after a UN special, Francesca Albanese, who said America is controlled by the Jewish lobby. And so he goes to a speech. By the way, no other group does this. Every weekend, there are different Jewish groups, international groups, domestic groups, and every weekend they have these symposiums and councils and everything. And nobody else does this. It's very strange how they have one of these things every weekend. No one else has anything like this, but somehow Israel and Jews do. So I guess that's, hey, well, they get the results, don't they? So he says, how dare this UN agent claim that America is controlled by the Jewish lobby, so we're going to prove her wrong by lobbying and then costing her job. And that's exactly what they did. And he says all of this out loud. So he says he basically proves that she's right. This is one of the strangest things ever. So he complains that she says U.S. is controlled by the Jewish lobby, and then he, as a Jew, lobbies against her and wins and proves her point. And he says this publicly and is proud of it. What is this exercise? Is it an exercise of dominance? Is it an exercise of cucking? Is it a total lack of self-awareness?
Francesca Albanese, the UN rapporteur on Palestine. As you know, I don't have to tell this audience, she has said that America is controlled by the Jewish lobby. On October 7th, she defended Hamas, said there's a context.
Now, let's just address these two claims first. So is America not controlled by the Israeli lobby? Are you going to say America is not controlled by the Israeli lobby as you prove that she's right? And then and then he makes the claim, oh, she defended Hamas. No. Another total lie. What she said is that this war has been going on forever. Folks, you can go back to the 90s, you can go early 2000s, Israel, Palestine. Israel What you're seeing Israel do in Gaza and Palestine right now is nothing new. It's just way bigger in scale. Israel has been doing this in Gaza and Palestine for decades. Now it's just borderline Holocaust. Now it's just borderline genocide. Some people are already convinced it's a genocide by definition, regardless of how you feel about that. So all she's saying is, well, you know, Israel's been attacking Palestine too, so it's kind of been this ongoing thing for decades, which is true. But that's what he's claiming is the defense of Hamas. So it's like, you're not even allowed to report on the fact that there's been an ongoing war. But in Iran, we've been at war for 47 years. So we've been at war with Iran for 47 years. We haven't. But Israel and Palestine, they've been attacking one another. There have been brutal attacks going both ways for decades. But somehow that's not considered a war. But if Israel gets attacked, it's a war, and then they can do whatever they want. But if Israel attacks anybody else, that's just self-defense. And so that's what he's saying here.
And every 5 minutes on Twitter, she is echoing the worst blood libels against Israel. She is the leader.
And so this is why they're spending millions and millions of dollars to run internet propaganda. This is why the Israeli lobby and Netanyahu is spending millions of dollars for social media propaganda right here. Now, this is all organic. The people that don't like Israel, the people that report on what Israel does in southern Lebanon or Palestine or the rest, they don't work for any international institution or nation state. Most of them are just independent and doing this for their own media coverage. But this is why you see all the Israeli assets pouring onto social media, pouring into the American media, because as they see it, as he's announcing right here, they have to somehow balance this out. You've got all the people telling the truth about Israel, so they have to put as many people onto the field to lie about Israel to try to balance this out. It's all Israel's right to self-defense, by the way. Israel can lie to you, propagandize you, steal your money, own your Congress. That's all in their self-defense.
Leading purveyor of the genocide libel. We are fighting back. We are fighting back. We have exposed her. We have exposed her hateful remarks. She is now the first UN rapporteur in history to have been condemned by France, Germany, Canada, the Netherlands, the UK, Argentina, Hungary, the US, and many other countries, Latvia, Estonia, and many other countries.
So here you go. A woman makes a claim that the Jewish lobby has all this international power, and then he's going to stand up here representing a Jewish lobby and prove her right, and then somehow she's the loser here. It's one of the strangest things, guys. I just got to say. It's I don't even know how to quantify that one. That's wild. Totally proves her point, but she's punished for being right. Okay. All right. Did you guys hear about this, by the way? You'd think this would be a bigger story. Harvard to pay $53 million in lawsuit over selling donated corpses on black market. What? What? Harvard to pay $53 million over selling donated corpses on black market. Excuse me? Harvard University will pay $53 million to settle a ghoulish class action suit brought by families claiming an imprisoned former morgue manager at the Ivy League institution mishandled the bodies of their loved ones, donated to its medical school, and even sold their body parts on the black market. A state court judge in Boston preliminarily approved the 8-figure settlement Tuesday in the suit stemming from the 2023 arrest of disgraced former Harvard Medical School morgue manager Cedric Lodge. I got a feeling there's more on that guy. I got a feeling there's more to learn about Cedric Lodge. Now tell me, guys, is that not selling corpses on the black market? What are we talking about exactly here? Can somebody explain what is the black market for corpses? That's what I'd like to know. And if there's a black market for corpses, he's not the only one. You know that he's not the only one selling corpses in the black market. If there's a market, then there's more people in it. So what in the hell are we even talking about here? Selling corpses for the black market? I'm not even sure I want to know. Where do the bodies end up? What is this all this for? I'm not even sure I want to know. But I'm sorry. Here's my takeaway. When I saw this story today, you know what? You know what I said to myself? And I'll ask you. I don't even know. I think it might have been it was barely a headline on many news sites today. Barely a headline on many news sites. I highly doubt we'll see anything on the national network news. I haven't seen anything in the national network news. Selling corpses on the black market. I'm sorry. Am I crazy, or is this like, let's stop the presses and hit pause? What is the black market for corpses exactly? What exactly are we dealing with here with a $53 million lawsuit from corpses being sold on the black market? But here's what hit me about it, because I just know how the media works, and I'm like, okay, they're not going to cover this. Most people, you're listening to this right now, you're listening to my voice, you probably didn't even hear this story. You probably heard nothing about this story. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, there have been other stories that made the national news, and they made sure every single American saw the headline and knew the story. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let's take a second just to do this social experiment here live on air, just to show you how propaganda works, guys. What stories out of Harvard have been mainstream news in the last couple years? What stories out of Harvard University have gotten national media attention and the attention of the Department of Justice, by the way? And every single American has probably seen these headlines. Would anybody like to tell me? Go ahead. Push it in the chat, guys. What have they been telling us about Harvard for years now? What has been the big national disgrace? What has been the big national controversy at Harvard? Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. In other words, mean words. Mean words. And the American media will make sure every single person that they can reach will know that Harvard is anti-Semitic. The American media will make sure that every single American that they can reach knows that Harvard is anti-Semitic, and they are addressing it. They are addressing it at the DOJ. They are addressing it with policy. They're addressing it with institutional change. And this is a major controversy. I mean, this is a national disgrace and conspiracy, and every single American needs to know about Harvard and the anti-Semitism, and they shoved it down your throat for months. Okay, mean words, mean words. Now a guy gets caught selling corpses on the black market, and you won't even hear about it. You won't even hear about it. Tell me why mean words are a bigger story than black market corpses. Can somebody explain this one to me? Since when is mean words or speech we disagree with or don't like, since when is that a big national controversy than selling bodies, selling dead bodies and corpses on the black market? Which, how is there even a black market, is a follow-up question. So mean words and anti-Semitism is a bigger conspiracy than black market corpses. Does that kind of sum it up? I'd say that kind of sums it up. Okay, one more thing here, and we're going to get to the super chats. All right. Latest conspiracy theory. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm not giving it too much thought, but it keeps popping up on my feed, and so I figured I might as well just show it to you. Here's the latest conspiracy theory, guys. Are the data centers powering underground cities? Is that what this is really about? The elites are building their underground bunkers. The elites are building their underground cities to survive whatever it is about to happen to us. And the data centers are really just these massive hubs to power and, keep technology in these underground cities that they're building. This is your new conspiracy theory. What do you guys think about that? I'd say it's probably more likely that it's just for the AI surveillance state. But you know what? I kind of like where we're going. I kind of like where we're going with this. We're getting back to classic conspiracy theory. I like that. All right. There you go, guys. That's what we have for the news today. We go to our super chats as we do every day before we sign off air. Folks, if you haven't, please give us a follow on YouTube, the Owen Report on YouTube. Help us grow that channel. Really means a lot. Hopefully we will cross the 70K number by the end of this week. That would be nice. We had a bit of a lofty goal. I think it was a reasonable goal, bit of a lofty goal. We're still going to fight to get there. It's getting harder to get there by the day, and we did deal with a little bit of a censorship issue. But, you know, we'd love to get to 100K by the end of October. Bit of a lofty goal. We got about two months, 10 days to do it, to get 30,000 people to follow on YouTube. But if you're listening to this, you like the show, you don't follow on YouTube, please go to the Owen Report on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Give us a follow. Really helps build the channel and the show. Appreciate that. And so we go to our super chatters on YouTube now that we appreciate so much. Dust Vault leads us off. Don't let her bait you into attacking Alex. Wait, what are we talking about here? I don't even know. Who's her? I don't know why I would attack. I don't know why I would attack Alex. Bongino voted for the 1993 Corey Mills loss. You know what, guys? I don't even want to get into the results of the elections because there's so much weird stuff going on there. It's like, I feel like it's just hard to trust any of it, guys. It's hard to trust any of it. It's probably good that Mills lost, but I feel like it's like somebody said, no, Mills has to lose. So, I don't know. What are you going to do now that Fishback, what is Fishback going to do? You know, you've been a big Fishback guy. Call Owen what you want, but he didn't protect PDFs. That's true. They'll never be able to say that about me. I don't know about Dan, but that's a different story. I did see, I don't know if this was what the other comment was about. Was it because Dan was attacking Alex today too? Is that what it was about? I don't know. I really don't know what I don't know. And I've decided closed primaries are corrupt. Texas is just as corrupt with open primaries and unlimited government terms. Well, you have to understand, you're not putting into context what I said. I said the reason why I believe closed primaries are corrupt is because it treats parties like an institution at the same level of the state. And I don't think that's legitimate. So I understand why people have their concerns about the open primaries, but to me, that's how it should be. If you're going to live in a democracy, you should be able to go vote however you want to vote. Even if that vote is to throw off someone else's primary, you should be allowed to do that. That you have a right to vote in this democracy we have, which I'm starting to lose faith in democracy, to be honest, but that's a separate issue. If dumb people can vote me into a slave, why would I want them to vote? Separate issue, though. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to say that the parties have the same institutional power as the state. So you can argue about, why closed primaries are good or open primaries are bad. To me, this is just about putting a party, a political party at that institutional level, I think is fundamentally wrong. You changed. You don't think Epstein is a Democrat hoax. Yeah. Come on. I mean, you changed, bro. You won't even cry about anti-Semitism. You cry about it. You need to be crying about it, literally. Crying on air. Like our friend Ayal Jacoby. He's scared. Florida has a J problem. Texas full of Jeets and Muzz. Something like that. Term limits apply to DeSantis, but not to Hot Wheels. Don't get me started on Abbott, man. I'm telling you, it's such... It just sucks, man. Honestly, like, this is... I take Matthew McConaughey over Abbott. It's like, just give us anything other than Abbott, man. It's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, Hinojosa, the woman running, it's like, I don't want her either. She's a flatline. And she'll probably be worse. I don't know. It's like, how does Abbott... this guy sucks, man. John Franson, these dinosaurs don't have true principles. They equate anti-Israel to the left. Now that we're forced to have an opinion on the Middle East, we are now leftists. Yeah. And it's hollow. you know, there's no ground to stand on there anyway, but that's what they do. But they're the new libtards. They're the new people that can't have a debate, say the same things, totally predictable, totally brainwashed. Just because they're on the right or think they're conservatives or something doesn't change these facts. Texas should mandate deodorant. Problem solved. I don't think so. I don't know. Don't even go there. Ted Cruz is loyal to the Lone Star State, Israel. Yeah, well, that's the whole reason why he got involved in Congress. His words. Hot Wheels is loyal to the Lone Star State, Israel. Yeah, it's true. James Fishback and I are enjoying Starlink internet. Is that where they tallied the votes? Byron Donalds has Comtrash Suxfinity internet. I'm not even doing that one. I don't even know what you're doing here. You're suffering today. I get it. It's a big loss. I get it. It's okay. Do what you got to do. Hello Kitty. Owen, I think your new look is great. Look at that. Look at that. The women are chiming in here. She wouldn't say that about Sean Fresh. She wouldn't say that about Dan Bongino. I'm not even trying to. I got all natural. I got the all natural today with the hair. Not even anything in it. No, didn't even, try to style it or anything today. This is the all natural look. It's a bit wild, But there it is. That's all I got for you. Thank you. Very sweet. Manly, you have Spectrum internet. Spectrum sucks. I'm getting real sick of the internet diatribes here. You don't think I'm doing the best that I can here, bud? Come on. What do you think goes on here? I'm trying to move and get Starlink. I can't do that in my house right now. So give me a break. But you know what? You do support the show, so you are helping us out. So eventually, your complaints will be met with action, but we're just where we're at right now. Pillow treatment or draft Fox News boomers. Owen supported Byron in an old Fishback interview. Well, you know what? I guess I should probably take that then. I should probably say, okay. Fishback, I don't think is done, though. Fishback won the youth vote. Fishback, he'll deal with his own issues, his own criticisms. But regardless of the individual, he's on the right path where the youth is going politically, no doubt. Real stable MAGA. Hi, Owen and chat. I hope you're all having a happy hump day. Hump day? What are we thinking about here? Sending hugs and kisses from my little swimming pool in East Tennessee. We got people in the pool listening to the Owen Report. We got hot chicks sitting in pools listening to the Owen Report. That's about as cool as it gets in 2026 right there. That's a double entendre too. Cool as it gets. In the pool. And now I'm making poetic statements here. That's unbelievable. How could you let a douche like Dan B get to you? Get to me? I don't know what that means, get to me. Am I got to today? I think it was hilarious. I think we did a good opening segment on it. I think it's hilarious that they continue to address the hair and they still can't address anything I said. And I think that was my closing post from like Friday or something, or I don't know, my whole... I've been living in a sweat lodge since Thursday. Today is my first day back with the AC going. When you live in a sweat lodge for like 5 straight days, time kind of like... weird things start happening to time. I don't know how to explain it. So it doesn't really, I'm still in kind of a weird reset mode with the house and my own like timing right here. Well, I don't know what this had to do with Dan Bongino though. How did I get here? Oh, because, I don't know. I don't want to think anymore about Dan. I don't think he got to me though. I think it's funny. Oh, no, because the post that I made, whatever night it was, I can't remember. The nights are all blurred. I said 100% of the people from MAGA that are insulting my looks, 100% of them, not a single one has disagreed with anything I've said. Not a single one has addressed anything I've said. 100%, they all talk about the hair, and none of them can address anything I actually say. I think that was like, and so now it's Bongino. It's like the same thing. Even Bongino can't address anything I've said. So You know what? Could we send, I think we should send Bongino a yellow blonde wig just to try, just to see if he likes the look, you know? Yeah, he might like the look. Fishback concession speech didn't mention uniting behind Byron. I don't think it matters. I think even if the Renner and Fishbook voters don't go out and vote, I still think Donalds wins. Now, if they go vote Democrat, now that might make it interesting, but no, Florida looks strong red. I would say Florida looks very strong red. There might be some districts that flip, like Trump's district flipped. There was like a 30-point swing in Trump's district from a Republican to a Democrat in a special election. That might be a little more concerning. And then you had Butler, Pennsylvania. They had a special election that flipped 20 points and went pro-Trump, and now they're electing an anti-Trump Democrat. Those are more concerning than anything else that I'm seeing right now. If you want Republicans to win, I guess, if you would say it that way. Polls going both ways, just like MAGA. Get her one of Mark Levin's giant woman brooches. I thought he quit wearing that. I thought he got enough heat. I think does he still wear that? I thought he took it off. I wasn't even looking at that video. I knew MAGA was a complete joke when they started dropping rap songs about how cool it is being a white patriot in MAGA. Oh my gosh, what was that? I don't even know. I don't even want to know. All that cultural stuff is now just pure slop too. It lost all of its value. Now it's just pure garbage. It's like some of it was kind of good and cool and might have even had staying power. Now it's just pure trash, unfortunately. It's like, does anybody want Trump hats and shirts? Like, nobody even wants it anymore. Nobody wants Trump music. JM Dog Patriot, why don't we pull a bait and switch on the GOP, flip once we get in, just like they do, pretend to play their game back at them? You know, it's an interesting strategy and it might work, but the problem is we're not liars, you know? We're not unethical, lying scumbags like our politicians are. That's our problem, you know? We can't just lie to people. We can't just deceive people like that. That's not the type of people we are. So it's an interesting theory or potential strategy, but we just can't be bad people. We're just not lying frauds like our politicians are, like Republicans are. So unfortunately, it just fails because it's a non-starter. We're just too ethical to engage in deception like that. Meat stretcher. Are we still stretching our meat with refried beans? Are we still in the golden age of burritos? What are the odds Trump nukes Iran before the midterms and cancels them? I'd like to think Trump really doesn't want to do that, really. I'd like to believe we won't. But who knows? He might not even be in control. You know, maybe a new Trump Epstein thing drops and then all of a sudden we get a nuke. You know how it goes. Oh, and they are creating images in correlation with biblical verses, which you can see on Google Earth. It's beyond new construction. No one talks about these things. White House pentagram on Google Earth. Yeah, but that's always been around. The whole map of DC and the pentagram and all the symbology and the numerology. That's kind of more established stuff. I don't know how much new that is, but I don't know about the new construction. I guess I'd have to see that from above to see what you're talking about. Do you think Dan actually told Alex, let's lie? I'm missing something. Guys, I don't know. I know there's a bunch of drama with Alex and Tim Pool and Dan. I don't know. I'm not following it. So if that's what you're talking about here, I have no idea. I mean, I see the drama going on social media. I don't know any of the details, really. So I just don't know what you're talking about. Expose. Owen, you don't know how important your voice is and your stance on things, but you have to get the whole point of the meaning of a Jew God is not prejudice. God is the father of spirit. You know, you go into the religious stuff, it's like, I don't want to do that. That's not like what I do. You know, I get what you're saying because it's all intertwined with the politics, but that's why I kind of take the psychological angle more so than like the religious angle. And you start to kind of border on, you know, making the mistake of, you know, collective punishment or groupthink. And you have to remember the importance of the individual and you have to respect that when you're discussing these things. You sound more like Trump than Trump. Well, Oh, are you talking about the impression? I didn't know. At first I thought you were talking about policy, but now I think you're talking about the impression. Hey, guys, we wouldn't want to threaten Sean Faresh's business. We wouldn't want to threaten Sean Faresh's entire existence as the Trump impersonator guy, you know? Owen, we need you to stop. We've got this guy named Sean Faresh. He has no skills, none, but he's good at impersonating me, and he doesn't want to work a real job. He can't do it, won't work a real job. He has to be the Trump impersonator guy. We got our boy Dan Bongino. I think he might pay him now. I guess his show on LFTV failed. I don't know. Nobody's paying attention, so maybe he's not there anymore because nobody's watching. You can only do so much Trump impersonation, I told him. Plus, when I'm on air every day, what are you going to do? You can't compete with me. So it looks like Dan Bongino has bailed out the talentless Sean Faresh. Really can't do serious political commentary or foreign policy at all. Knows nothing. But good at impersonating Trump, very loyal cult member, so we need him to stick around. So if you could just lay off Faresh, lay off. He's a little soft around the edges. If you could just lay off and stop doing the Trump impersonations. If you're better than he is, he has no job. So think about that. Don't take his job. Trump is delusional. Sounds like a broken record. Yes, that's why our friend Boomer the Groundhog is here. It's got Groundhog Day news. So, yeah, you're with us. They have been building a nuke since the 80s. Obviously, they suck at building nukes. Yeah. By the way, there is a ban on using certain countries' names. Where is Melania? I don't know. She just did some speech last week. I don't know. I'm not really thinking about Melania or Trump's canoodling or lack thereof. The HARP thing took off, though. I mean, who had that one first?
And that's another home run from the great Babe Ruth.
But, you know, national debt hit $40 trillion today. Yeah, the annual payments are about to be over $1 trillion as well. Thank you, Trump. Thank you. This is why Florida lost yesterday. Yeah, that's what I was covering earlier in the show. You may have missed it, but I got into kind of the age groups. Florida's the 4th oldest state in the union. As far as a large state is concerned, it's the most oldest state in the union. As far as age, I'm talking about age. So, yeah, I don't think you can take too much away. But Fishback got the youth vote. Bilzerian did better with the youth vote. Something weird happened with that. I'm sure everybody saw. They posted Bilzerian. It was like 9 p.m. They posted Bilzerian with 8,000 votes. And then at 11 p.m., they posted Bilzerian with 6,000 votes. So it's just like, I don't know, guys. What are you going to do? It's just, there's the Trump administration. Elections are no more trusted now than they've ever been. Geo, Dan Bongina. Hey, careful now. He might karate kick you. The proof Levin knows Trump said no new wars, it's because Levin was a never-Trumper. Ah, yes, exactly. Levin hated Trump when he said no new wars. So he knew. That's great. That's right there. That's a good one, John. Very nice. Kushner is demon maxing. You saw that look. I'm telling. There's a look. There's a new occupation. There's a new vibe there entirely. Conservatives conserve Israel and Judaism. That's pretty much it. Actually, I'm glad somebody finally answered the question. I said, what are Republicans actually conserving? Finally, someone has answered the question. Thank you, Tay Tay. Charlie would have become president. Our Heavenly Father said, no, you're too good for a DC martyr. Karma Talia. Yeah, well, maybe Charlie was talking about maybe running for president. We saw what happened. He was changing on foreign policy. They said, we can't risk it. But that's all conspiracy theory, obviously. By the way, after that Owens-Wilson debate, it's kind of interesting how nobody's really talking about it. I don't even talk about the debate. I mean, like the actual assassination and court case. So I guess we're going to wait till September till the thing begins, or the judge officially says it can begin, till we start getting into that. And, you know, here's the one thing, and this is like all the different internet drama, but, you know, the one thing, people take different opinions on everything. Okay, and that's okay. We're not in a cult. Just because somebody has a different opinion over here than you, it's like land on whatever conclusions you want. But from the official narrative believers that are also kind of dissident, right, anti-Trump now, There's one point to me that is extremely important that does bother me. And that's if this is what the official narrative claims it is, and a leftist assassination terror attack, it's like, why isn't the Trump administration doing everything possible to completely dismantle the radical left right now? Now, you could say, well, they're waiting for the trial. Well, they all seem to be, they're all in agreement it's already over. They don't need to see the trial. They're not interested in the trial. They've got Tyler Robinson guilty. There's no innocent till proven guilty. Tyler's already guilty to them. The radical left is coming back strong. So it's like they believe it was a radical leftist assassination, and they still won't even go after the radical left. No. Hector Rio, in the movie I Am Legend, the cancer vaccines were the reason for mass deaths and creation of the vampires. Is Hollywood telling on themselves? That's a good movie, by the way. Maybe an early movie recommendation for this week. I Am Legend. I enjoyed that movie. And that is the correct synopsis. AJ challenging Tim Pool to a death match. Oh, well, you know what? I don't know. You know, Alex is, he's like a real life human gorilla. The only thing you could do in that situation is try to wear him out. I don't know if he's got the stamina. Tim would have no shot. If you had to get in an octagon with Alex Jones, just run around. All right, just run around until he's panting. You just stay away. But I don't think Tim has the stamina either. I don't know if Tim does much exercising these days. It's, you know, look, all jokes aside, I get along with everybody. I hope I can. I don't do the internet drama stuff. I don't draw first blood. They come after me, I'll respond. And most of it is just fun for me anyway. It's just, to me, it's such a sticking point, guys, that you see all the, I mean, they pretend like the MAGA coalition isn't dead. They pretend like the Trump administration is just, you know, wildly successful. But it's just like, look at the clear evidence. MAGA, the coalition is dead. All the major figures are of the coalition. They're all fighting each other. Bongino, Jones, Poole, Schroy. I mean, you name it. It's just like, the proof is right there in front of you, guys. They're all coming after Brandon Strzok. It's like the proof is right there in front of you. Marjorie Taylor Greene. The proof is right there in front of you. The MAGA coalition is beyond dead. And whatever is left of MAGA, it's just zombies that are now coming after us, looking for our brains. Excited for your collab with Anna tomorrow. Yes, Anna Kasparian on tomorrow. We're going to do a special broadcast. We're going to fire it up in the afternoon. We'll probably go for about an hour, and then I'll do the normal Owen report after that. King off. Not okay to be doing vanity projects when you make it clear you don't care about your people, which Trump has made clear he doesn't. Not celebrating. Yeah, that's fair. Owen, would it be possible for you to live stream GTA 6 on launch? Can you run a poll if viewers want to see that? What would that require me to do? If I was going to do that, I guess I'd have to get, what is that, an Xbox game or a PlayStation game? What are we even on now? PlayStation 6? What is the name of an Xbox? Guy, I'm so behind the times. I know that you can play Grand Theft Auto, the old ones, on a Switch. I could just play the old ones. When is GTA 6 even coming out? I don't know. I'm not against it, but that would take, I'd have to figure out everything I need to do it. Plenty of fishback signs still up around here. Well, it's still pretty early. Drew Sternman. After watching Candace and Andrew, I went and watched you versus Andrew. How you managed to deal with that? His debating tactics don't seem fair. Just overtalks and tries to direct the flow of the debate. Well, that's definitely his tactic. That's definitely his tactic. And when you kind of look at, you know, who he is, it's like, do you even know what he is or what he stands for? He's kind of just a contrarian, which I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm a natural contrarian myself. I don't really carry that as a debate platform, but that's kind of what it is. He's just more of a contrarian debate platform. He'll debate any stance, any side, if he sees an opening there, and that's fine. But you know, as far as the debate that we had, I thought it was all fine. I had no issues with our debate. And I had no issue with Andrew or Rachel. I got along with them just fine. So I'm okay. I have no problem having political debates, disagreements, even getting passionate and hot about it. and then, breaking bread, clinking glasses, getting along. That's how I was raised. I believe in that. I think it's very important. It's definitely important to me. All right, that's going to do it for today's transmission. We sign off. Hey, guys, the shirt I'm wearing, Disobey Propaganda, people are loving it. It's now our hottest selling shirt at owenschroyer.store is the Destroy Propaganda shirt. I think we may add a couple others. And do we have a women's yet? If we don't have women's, I need to address that too. DMT, listen up. I haven't checked the site. If we don't have women's yet, we'll get those up too. People are loving the Disobey Propaganda shirts at the store site, owenschroyer.store. A great way to support the show as we are hoping, very soon we're hoping that we can improve the studio and maybe add some stuff to it. We've been talking about it for a while. It was always kind of within that 1 year realm of goals. So we might be right on par, guys. Appreciate everybody. All right, signing off for today. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon for the Anna Kasparian interview, and then the Owen Report will be back. Same time, same channel tomorrow. God bless and Godspeed.